Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. Such a wonderful day. Won't you be my neighbor? Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere in between two formerly tariffed nations. Today is Thursday, March 27th, 2025. My name is Brian Engelman, and this is the TNAM AM show here on the New American Media, a division of Bing, the Agree to Disagree show. That's where you can find us on Spotify. So get our podcast on Spotify and what is it, Apple, wherever you find podcasts, etc. You can find us there. And it's on Spotify. Thanks for joining us. This is such a wonderful day. What makes it so good? Oh, well, it's baseball opening day, and they changed the name of my team because of reasons. Still not happy with this. Still not okay with it. I'm not going to dwell on it today. Oh, I've done shows and shows and shows because I also do a sports show that has a podcast. It's called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Trying to make sure that I'm streaming on Rumble. I had a couple glitches on Rumble recently. We are currently banned on YouTube on the New American Media. Nobody has explained what the problem is. They just gave us a strike. We've been doing content for 14 years, 1,800 videos, millions of views, and we finally got a strike. And they won't tell you what. If there's a copyright issue, because that's how it goes. You play something on Instagram and you're listening to, say I'm talking, and say from the beginning of the show until now, I have some sort of generic music playing in the background softly. Not the point of the video, not the reason I'm watching it, but there might be music playing in the background. Oh, well, YouTube will flag it. It'll say 37 minutes, 21 seconds. This song that nobody knows is playing for whatever. So there's a copyright strike or something. And it won't be a strike on your account, but they'll say now we have to reduce the distribution. So weird. I'm still not streaming on Rumble. It's still showing the intro. I don't understand why. Hi, buddy. Looks like I woke my cat up. Mr. Bean over here. Enjoying look, baseball is spring. Oh, Kenneth's here. Hi, Kenneth. Baseballs to the wall. I would love to know why Rumble is not streaming. This is the second day now. It says upcoming. Why is it saying upcoming instead of fun? Glitches. Fun. Is this why? Let's try this. So weird. Try it again. Close this out. Click it again. Still not streaming. All right, I'm going to try to figure this out. All right, question of the day. Do you have a favorite baseball team? Do you even watch baseball? Talk to me about baseball. The theme of today's show is if you want to talk about anything baseball, I will pause what I'm doing and I will talk to you about baseball. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Okay, this channel's unable to connect. Weird. I'm going to save this. My custom RTMP shows two people here. What is Rumble doing? Yeah, my tube has been tied. Hang on, where's Kenneth? Let's bring him in. Kenneth is our not-so-silent co-host. I don't know how to describe it. Kenneth is here dropping jokes, wordplay games. All appreciated. Hey, Adam, we're live. Why don't you join our show today? Talk some baseball. We're like live right now. We just started streaming. I got a message. Happy opening day. I just invited Adam in because he and I might do a baseball show, a regular baseball show. Let's see if Rumble has caught up now. If Rumble is allowing us to... oh, it says live. Now it's clicked over. All right, good. Well, I believe we're streaming on Rumble now. That was fantastic. But yeah, we are actually streaming on our YouTube for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. That one is really just sports only. We do some crossover if we cover sports topics. Because to be honest, it's been pretty dire lately. It's been very important that we kind of fix the direction of this nation. And so, it takes even to just broadcast live and come up with stuff off the top of your head, let alone the pre-production and the research necessary to provide you a show that's relevant and entertaining enough to be worthy of your valuable time. There's a lot of energy that goes into producing a show of quality, and the sports shows, they just haven't been as important in my life, on my radar, as changing the trajectory of our nation. From Afghanistan to Ukraine to the Gaza Strip, for the past 4 years, everything has been falling into chaos. The rampant inflation, the ridiculous wasteful spending, the fraud through U.S. aid, Act Blue, allegedly, all these places, bleeding us dry. Politicians no longer serving have ran up a $36 trillion credit card debt. Yeah, it's a little bit more important than my baseball team, isn't it? A little bit. So that's why we dedicated a lot of energy last year going to the conventions. Chicago for the Democrats, Milwaukee for the Republicans, D.C. for the Libertarians, D.C. again for inauguration. It's been wild. But the beauty of baseball, set all that stuff aside for a second. The beauty of baseball signifies the rebirth. Easter, spring. Christ, born again, raised from the dead. Society coming back from this dark, dreary, cold, quiet, solemn phase of winter. Winter can be glorious, but it really is a doldrum. It's a mood ruiner. And we're emerging from this. And everything is kind of tied. When you think baseball, you think spring. Yeah, the first couple weeks are tough being a Cleveland fan. The schedule makers need to do a better job. Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati, the Brewers. I mean, what Chicago? Take these teams right there in the Midwest, like those Midwestern teams. Man, put them to start the season out on the West Coast. Put them in a dome. At the beginning of the year, we're not fully in spring yet. I haven't had to cut the grass yet. Spring doesn't really start until you have to mow the lawn. And I haven't had to do that yet. I mean, hell, we're not even technically in April yet. But the baseball schedule makers, I saw a report. I saw it posted. I guess there was a married couple that had been doing the schedules for every team for how many years? I wonder if I can find that on Grok. I wonder if it would. The couple who made the MLB schedules each year. I saw this reported, and I'm trying to find out if... let me share the screen with you. Kenneth, I did ask a question of the day. He says he guesses the Twins the Minnesota Twins only because, like Blake Wally, a often contributor here with the New American Media. Check him out on Eccentric Perspective. Yeah, they both grew up in Minnesota. Nacho man. I think Homer's at a football game for that one. Spend an Easter on your keister? All right. Where is Adam? Did Adam get my message? Adam, join us. If he joins, that'll be fun. Yeah, buddy. You excited for baseball too? Well, come on up. Huh. Yeah, Mr. Ben is excited for baseball. So, look, this is the signifying of like shifting out of a previous phase. Things are blooming, things are growing, birds are singing, bees are trying to have sex with them. At least that's my impression based on the songs. That was another Simpsons reference. Bees are trying to have sex with them. Baseball's fantastic. And I've had arguments. Sorry, I've had conversations with Blake. Don't have arguments. Who cares? Everything's a conversation, not an argument. Ben, where have you been? Blake thinks the baseball season is too long. I don't. It's the birth of spring. It goes all the way deep into fall. October, November, right as winter's kind of coming in. Kind of consumes 3 seasons. And you know what? For consistency, for I need to share this on the Unhappy Hour on my Facebook groups. That's right. Ooh, I can do it for the Guardians. Let's see. We are talking baseball and other current events. But yeah, he thinks it's too long of a season, and I just disagree. I think if you're going to try to compare Babe Ruth to Barry Bonds, if you're going to try to compare Shohei Ohtani to Nolan Ryan, I think you need to keep the number of games the same. I mean, I guess Honey Nut Cheerios. Does that bumblebee have a name on Honey Nut Cheerios? That's a good question. Oh, look at this. Here, check this out. Let me share this tab with you. So the couple who made the MLB schedules each year were Henry and Holly Stevenson. This is from Grok. I have replaced Google with Grok. I recommend you do as well. They are not a sponsor, so I don't care. Let me go big on this one so you can read it. If you can read it, let's go even bigger. There we go. We'll do this for a second. Yeah, Grok just gives me what I'm looking for really fast. Google tries to give me goofy globalist slant. Anyway, the couple who made the Major League Baseball schedules each year were Henry and Holly Stevenson. Or if I were Tucker Carlson, I would read it like this. The couple who made the MLB schedules each year are called Henry and Holly Stevenson. He always says that. They're called. That's just how he talks. From 1981 to 2004. Whoa. That's 23 years. Am I doing the math on that right? This husband and wife duo took on the monumental task of crafting the Major League Baseball schedule. This job involved arranging 2,430 games across 30 teams over roughly 6 months. So I guess it's 6 months. I said 3 seasons. That's probably just 2 seasons then. But, spring and summer. But they're already deep into fall by the time October, November. And they're only really off November, December, January, February, March. Anyway. They did this largely by hand using pencils, paper, and a computer system that they developed, working out of their home in Staten Island, New York. Their work required balancing a complex web of factors, team locations, travel logistics, stadium availability, and special requests like ensuring certain teams played at home on holidays. Wow. Mm, that does get kind of wonky, doesn't it? Long before modern scheduling software took over. They stepped in this role after MLB sought to outsource the increasingly complicated task, which had previously been handled by Harry Simmons from 51 to 81. Unlike their predecessor, they blended a human touch with basic computing, refining the process over their 24-year tenure. Their reign ended in '05 when MLB selected the Sports Scheduling Group, a company that relied on advanced computer algorithms, to take over. The Stevenson story gained wider recognition through ESPN's 30 for 30 short documentary, The Schedule Makers, highlighting their unique contribution to baseball history. Now in their 70s and living on Martha's Vineyard, they remain a testament to a pre-digital era of sports logistics. So here's my thing. I don't want to see these Midwest teams with too many games in April. It's very rainy. April showers bring May flowers. And it's cold. It's okay if you get into the playoffs, and it's cold, that's fine. That's fine. You're going to have that at the end of the season. Oh, let me put a question here in Rumble. Who is your favorite baseball team? Do you still watch and attend games regularly? That's our question of the day on Rumble. Make sure you're following us on Rumble. Here, let me put this at the bottom of the screen. Do a search for the New American Media on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick. DLive isn't quite set up yet, and YouTube at the New American Media. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_media_. And subscribe to our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show, on Spotify and Apple, as well as the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Yes, do that thing. Do that thing. Actually, that's another good idea. I'm getting all these ideas today. I want to show you the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Where would it be? It would be the Unhappy Hour. There we go. This is the one that we use for the New American Media. Thanks to Ted Distel of Distel Design for getting us that one. And I'm trying to upload. It's processing. The New American Media's the Unhappy Hour Show. So I do love sports. I know I'm normally here talking to you about current events, and we will talk about current events. President Trump has signed an order to revamp the voting procedures, freaking finally requiring voter ID. Make it a holiday. Look, take President's Day and move it to November 3rd or something. Make that the national voting holiday. That's when you get your day off for President's Day. It's for all presidents, so you vote. You vote in person. If you're not a military member, if you're not completely disabled, and then you have to go through signature verification, ID me, proof of life check. They do the facial scan recognition. You don't just get to turn in thousands of super not sketchy ballots. Oh, no, these are mail-in. Sure they are. If it matters to you, you go and vote. So we're going to talk about some of these things that are going to revamp our voting system finally. We're going to talk about more Tesla terrorism. We're going to talk about all sorts of things going on in the news. But look, today's a great day. I'm wearing my colors. Best logo in all of sports. I miss him. So you cannot look at our chief and not smile. Coolest looking, happy character, cartoon character ever created. erased by wokeness, erased by Tom Hanks, who came in and did the reveal of, oh, we have a new team name now. Tom Hanks spent a little bit of time in Cleveland. Actually, let me see what was Tom Hanks' connection to Cleveland. Tom Hanks' connection to Cleveland. I don't think he was born in Cleveland. He might have lived there briefly. In the late 70s, he began his acting career. So in 77, he got his first professional job at the Great Lakes Shakespeare Festival, now known as the Great Lakes Theater in Cleveland, Ohio. He spent 3 summers there. Okay, there you go. So he was doing Shakespeare stuff in Cleveland. Production, acting, lighting, set design, stage management. Pivotal for Hanks. And he got his Actors Equity card, and he credits his time in Cleveland with shaping his career. He says he became a passionate fan of the city sports teams, including the Indians, especially the Indians. Yeah. Narrating a 2021 video announcing the team's name change from the Indians to the Guardians. Blah. Let's see if he's on any lists that might come out. No, not RFK or JFK, but maybe some other lists. No, MLB is not you may like Biden. Nobody likes Biden. Today is a happy day. And let's not drag it down by thoughts of that Biden, that Obama puppet. The third term used to really destroy so much. But we're in a rebirth. Look, we're in a rebirth right now, keeping with the theme of baseball and spring, new beginnings. We're starting fresh. We're fixing and cleaning up a lot of damage done, like after a storm, after a fire. Adam Carolla has a good blog. He's going across Pacific Palisades, Malibu area, showing you just incredible amounts of construction and demolition and just really you gotta get rid of all of the stuff that's destroyed there so that you can rebuild fresh. It's what's happening in North Carolina, although there are some new fires in Western North Carolina. Matt Van Swell reporting. I'll talk about that in a little bit in today's show. But this is kind of reemerging from some nonsense. It's reemerging from a tough time. It's reemerging from dark days. That is what it's like, this administration fixing so much of what Biden was just Obama's third and most honest term. That's only if you don't count Obama's deep state term, where he hid in the shadows and ran illegal spy programs with the FISA warrants, the 2 fake impeachments. So Biden was either Obama's third or fourth term, but America has had absolutely enough with the Obama doctrine. That is the name of a book that I'm putting together. I hope to have that soon because I keep referencing the Obama doctrine. And look at the Democrat Party. Their favorability, approval ratings are in the 20s. I can't believe they're that high, honestly. They only exist to take out Trump, and it's stupid. We have issues as a country. I don't care who you personally like. You know, when I served on a board of directors for our homeowners association, for example, it doesn't matter if I like a homeowner or if a homeowner likes me. It doesn't matter if I like a board member or a board member likes me. It doesn't matter if I like my manager or my property management company or if they like me. What matters is that we triage the most important issues facing our community of 25 buildings, 216 units, and we do the biggest things that are needed. Our buildings were in an advanced state of incredible disrepair when I got there. And I mean, by the time we were done, we painted every one of those buildings, fixed them up, repaired them, tented them, got all the cats living out from underneath, sealed them back up. Spayed and neutered the cats, which give them a longer life and stop them from multiplying, which is great. Termite tented, so your building won't be eaten from the inside out. painted them, sealed them. I mean, we gave that whole community a facelift. Ripped out and re-poured driveways. Redid roofs, redid plumbing. Whatever was needed, we did it. We couldn't do everything because we were on a budget. So we increased the amount that was coming in. And that's what you're supposed to do. You just look at what's happening and go, why are we being ripped off in all these trades? All of these tariffs. We're getting annihilated by other countries, but we're not taking care of our own. We're allowing it to happen. And so I guess we're not the agree to disagree show today. Where's my TNAM AM show? Let me put that one up there. There we go. It's the same show. I've kind of figured out maybe agree to disagree could be when I have guests on the program. Maybe the TNAM AM show. And it might be the TNAM PM show coming up soon. I could envision a scenario where I'll do shows at night. 100%. But I love talking to you guys. I love talking about what's happening in the world. I love meeting here and telling jokes and stuff. But I do also have an idea of starting the show off with a series of jokes, an opening monologue. No, I don't have it for you today. I don't have it prepared. But I do write a lot of jokes, and I cover the news. And I'd like to introduce that. I'd like to start doing that. So keep your eyes peeled. I have some ideas because I've been performing stand-up comedy for 2 months now. It's been great. Terrifying. But then you settle in and find some comfort, and then you start to find your voice. And I don't know. I'm not even really worried about which jokes work and which jokes don't. I'm worried about, I don't worry. I just think to myself, well, what do I want to talk about today? And it's great. It's what I do here, but here I'm allowed to unpack it. I'm allowed to get into different stories. There I have to be 4 minutes. Like, you got to have a plan. You got to get in, you got to get out, you got to do it fast. So it's a different way of communicating, writing a book, The Obama Doctrine, or There's Only Next Year, the story of the long-suffering Cleveland sports fan base. They're projects. You just got to sit down and knock them out. And I committed to doing stand-up, and I've been continuing on. And I love it. So thanks for working with me while I improv. I consider this improv. I try to collate. I try to gather important, relevant, interesting stories, give them to you, provide some perspective on them. And I appreciate everyone being here. Finally, at the bottom of the screen, we'll put these TNAM donation links up if anybody would like to contribute to independent journalism. We are on Patreon at the New American Media. Thank you for our new subscriber over there. Saw one of those recently. They're always great. We'll take some more. We're on Venmo at Brian Engelman, Cash App Brian Engelman, and Fuzz Installment is our PayPal. So please link up with us there. I'll leave that at the bottom scrolling for just a moment. Let's jump into the stories. But like I said, anything you want to mention about baseball, let's talk about. I will pivot and talk quick bursts of baseball with you. Here's a question of the day. Do you have a pivotal baseball moment? Any like highlights or lowlights? The Cleveland Indians have failed to win the championship. We were up 3-1 on the Red Sox in 2007. Could have easily beaten the Colorado Rockies, but the Red Sox came back to break their curse. We had a chance in 2016, the same year that LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love won for the Cavaliers. We almost pulled off a 2-city championship that year, but we blew our 3-1 lead to the Cubs, who broke their curse. Brutal. We went to the World Series in 95 and 97. We're unable to make those happen. Brutal. Brutal. So when it comes to baseball, I mean, I have a lot of close but no cigar moments. And sadly, my favorite team, the Cleveland Indians, will never win a championship unless somebody comes to their senses and brings our team name back. The Cleveland Indians, of course, named for Louis Sockalexis, the first Indian player to play in Major League Baseball. The opposing city's sports writers started making fun of our Cleveland Spiders, like, oh, who are you playing this week? Oh, they got that Sockalexis guy, that Indian, that Indian, huh? Oh, I guess we're playing the Cleveland Indians this week, aren't we? The Cleveland Indians. We're like, hey, we'll take that. Cleveland Indians also had the first black player in the American League. Oh, no, he's not Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson, Jackie Robinson. Nobody ever remembers. Batter up is a pancake reference. Yeah, it's a Waffle House reference. Nobody ever remembers the second person to walk on the moon, do they? Well, Larry Doby was the first black player in the American League. And guess what? All those American League teams, there was not a crossing of the National League and American League at the time. Interleague play is a relatively new concept. Is that 15 years ago or something? Actually, no, I'm curious. I wish Grok had a voice activated. Interleague MLB play started when? 97. Holy shit. 07, 17, 27 minus 2. We've had interleague play for 28 years? Wait, hold on. The Texas Rangers ballpark in Arlington is no longer called the ballpark. It's called Choctaw Stadium. The hell's Choctaw? Did I do the math right? Or 27 years of interleague play? Man, you blink. You blink and time flies, right? But Larry Doby, all the fans that had to get over the fact that the Cleveland Indians, the Spiders, had Louis Sockalexis, the first Indian. Like, yeah, we'll be the Cleveland Indians. Like, there's a lot of Native American history in the state of Ohio. The Cuyahoga River, Tuscarawas, rural Tuscarawas County, one of the toughest things to say on the weather report. Cuyahoga. I mean, everything's named after Indian tribes and stuff. Larry Doby was the one that all the American League bigots and racists would yell slurs at. Jackie Robinson wasn't playing the American League. Larry Doby was. The Cleveland Indians are a groundbreaking, trailblazing, bigotry-busting franchise that got wrapped up in the Floyd hysteria of 21 and used Tom Hanks, who's connected to a million bad stories. We'll see if any of those prove out to be true. I would put money on it. Can't report it. I got nothing to tell you. But my spidey senses are tingling. To erase and whitewash that history from our franchise. It's unfortunate. I said I wasn't going to get into it. I'll wrap it up here. But we also had the first black manager, Frank Robinson, in the 70s. He was a coach. Like, the Indians were a team that were a trailblazing team. We did not need to fall into that Washington Redskins, Cleveland Indians, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben's. We got to erase everything with character. We must literally whitewash everything. Everything's got to be white. If it's connected to anything not white, get rid of it. If you got to get rid of the Cleveland Indians, tell me why the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are a thing. Please. Let's talk about the Blackhawks and the Seminoles. What are we doing? Anyway, we're here to talk baseball. More importantly, we're here to talk about the news. So let's jump into the news here. A lot of these stories we're going to touch upon because they're all circling back around with Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, with Pete Hegseth, the Department of Defense Secretary, and President Trump, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. A lot of these old stories are going to come back around because we need to seek justice for the ridiculous deep state meddling, intervention, coup, treasonous behavior that they've displayed over time. Libs of TikTok put this one out and said, here's a flashback to General Mark Milley. Who does he work for?
He's thought wrongly that the United States is going to attack them. I am certain, guaranteed certain, that President Trump had no intent to attack. And it was my task to make sure I communicated that. And the purpose was to de-escalate, calm things down.
You shared all that earlier. I understand.
And as part of that,
just say, did you or did you not tell him that if we were going to attack, you would let him know?
as part of that conversation, I said, General Lee, there's not going to be a war, there's not going to be an attack between great powers. And if there was, the tensions would build up. There'd be calls going back and forth from all kinds of senior officials. I said, hell, General Lee, I'll probably give you a call, but we're not going to attack you. Trust me, we're not going to attack you. These are two great powers, and I am doing my best to transmit the president's intent, President Trump's intent, to ensure that the American people are protected from an incident that could escalate.
I understand.
That is not your role. That is not your job. That is not in the purview of your scope. We left a comment. Let's bring charges against Milley and the other treasonous actors involved in sabotaging the first Trump administration button. Ding. Hit the little heart if you like that. If you're not following the New American Media on Instagram, please do. We give you the stories that are off of our feed each day. That's kind of how we prep our show. We follow some great accounts. We skim and we sift for some of the most relevant stuff. You're hearing all of this uproar about a Signal chat. So Signal was pre-installed on those phones. Biden authorized that Signal was a chat that you could have. The guy who was included, this Jeffrey Goldberg character, he's been peddling fake news nonsense for years now. And it looks like some staffer added him to the chat. Intentionally? I don't know. We're investigating it. But it's not a big how do you do. The Houthi destruction mission was very successful. We did not have the damage, the collateral, the loss of life that we had in, say, Afghanistan at all, actually, zero. Maybe it's a teachable learning moment. This type of behavior, though, this is what all of those people up in arms about Signalgate. Oh my gosh. War plans were leaked. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Have not seen a single piece of evidence showing that. There were conversations, spirited conversations, as you're supposed to have. Conversations I'm sure Biden wasn't having because Biden didn't know what day of the week it was.
Your intent, but I think you articulating that you would tell him, you would give him a call, I think is worthy of your resignation.
Actively, what the commander-in-chief sets the tone. The commander-in-chief is the one who's in charge. And just like you've seen with tariffs, just like you've seen with the tough talk in 100 different places in only 2 short months, President Trump acting like a boss, showing strength, and reminding people that you don't mess with us. You don't step on Sneck. No step on Sneck. You seen that Don't Tread on Me libertarian, the Gadsden flag? No step on Sneck. Milley going through back channels to thwart the game plan of the commander-in-chief. You ought to lock him up for that. Because peace through strength works when you're talking tough and the concept of being tough is on the table. When you take that off the table, you remove his bargaining chips, you remove his negotiating chips. Well, you know, I was concerned that this was going to escalate. I'm glad that you were concerned. It's not your job to step in and speak for the president to undercut and undermine a negotiation, an active negotiation.
I just think that's against our country, that you would give our number one adversary that information and tell him that.
Chinese.
So as we're talking about Pete Hegseth, that's a big nothing burger, to pardon the phrase from, to borrow the phrase from Van Jones. That's a big nothing burger. By the way, to anybody just joining us or watching us on YouTube or in the Unhappy Hour Sports Show group on Facebook, this is opening day. It's sports day. I'm wearing my sports jersey. I should maybe wear my hat. Do I have my... Ooh, I have that hat. Maybe I'll wear that hat. Anyway, now we're covering the news. Mila Joy here, putting it out here. And whoop, hold on. There we go. Okay, that story is no longer available. Got it. So now there's a big NPR defunding debate going on. Yeah, I don't know. What chat apps do you use? I use Signal. Like I said, we're on Signal and Telegram, TNAM and TNAM chat. You guys should have some backup channels because we saw how quickly all of social media could completely erase and deperson someone like Alex Jones, someone like Donald Trump, someone like Milo Yiannopoulos, someone like you. At first, they came for the gypsies, but I wasn't a gypsy, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Mila Joy here saying NPR. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We just got silenced on YouTube. No timestamp. I think they said misinformation. Misinformation. I'll put my batting record up against all of your censorship crap. Let's see who has a better batting average as Google, YouTube, Alphabet, Deep State is pushing bullshit narratives on the world. Let's see who has a better batting average, shall we? Misinformation. Well, what exactly? They won't tell you. Facebook would delete your account, won't let you talk to anyone, suspend you for 30 days, 60 days, erase your groups, erase your company page, no explanation given. Instagram, independent third-party fact checkers, wink, wink, USAID, wink, wink, USAID. They determine that your post is false or misleading or lacks proper context. You mean I'm disagreeing with your bullshit narratives and you're going to try to silence me? Okay. So yeah, we rebuilt our page on Facebook. We rebuilt our Instagram. We rebuilt our YouTube and started putting content out again. But look, now we're on Twitch and Kick and Rumble. You got to get on Rumble. Rumble is the new YouTube. Not a sponsor yet. I'd work with them. I've been waiting for a YouTube alternative all these years. And Rumble is pretty close to it. And X, since Elon took over. Yes, I know he's probably just data mining it to understand what we're all thinking, how we act, and to figure out how to link up with our brains. And, maybe it's nefarious or not. But you know what I do appreciate? I appreciate a free and open network where I can share my thoughts without constantly being deranked, deboosted, demonetized. Yeah, Rumble should have like an annual birthday party, a Rumba party. Anyway, yes, Signal, Telegram, TNAM, and TNAM chat. Find us there. Mila Joy here. They're talking about NPR being defunded. I'll give you a clip from Marjorie Taylor Greene about PBS and NPR coming up. So NPR has 87 employees. 87 of those employees voted Democrat. 0 voted Republican. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but she's reporting it. NPR got $535 million in taxpayer dollars yearly to push leftist lies and propaganda. I shouldn't have to pay for this rag radio station. And their federal funding. But there's a spell check in there. Federal funding. Are you aware of this? This doesn't even seem real. That is our question. Is this real? A third of all DC district judges were not born in the United States and had no prior judicial experience at the time of appointment? That can't even be true. Do you know what terrifying situation this puts us in? If this is true, oh my God, and I'm hearing it reported everywhere. Jerome for Congress says, if we aren't careful, we'll have America hating foreigners, leading, bleeding, and destroying this nation from the inside out. Just look at what happened under Obama and Kamala Harris. Neither were truly of this country, and their policies reflected it. When leaders don't have a genuine love for America, they don't govern to protect her. They rule to reshape her, weaken her, and hand her over to globalist interests. That's exactly what we've seen. The more we allow outsiders and anti-American radicals to take power, the more we lose what made this nation great in the first place. I'm not going to relitigate the Obama birthplace thing, but, you know, that very suspicious plane crash with the guy that certified, air quote, that Obama had a birth certificate, but we couldn't see it. But then we saw a certificate of live birth, but that's not the same as a birth certificate. It just shows at this date, at this time, a human exists in this location. It doesn't say where it's born, but that's what we were given, a certificate of live birth, according to some. But, you know, let's not relitigate that right now. Do your own research. Because no courts have found that Barack Hussein Obama was born anywhere than the United States. Plenty of suspicions, though. And Kamala, was she Jamaican and Irish or something? Anyway, I digress. But how can you be a judge if you don't have judicial experience? How can you be a judge if you're not born in this country? We have got to fix this. We've got to take a look at that. Makes no sense to me. Thomas Sowell, one of the best quote makers on earth. Let's change the... That's my burp certificate. Thanks, Kenneth. You made me burp. That was gross. Not really. It was fun. Okay, Thomas Sowell, he says, the fact that so many successful politicians are such shameless liars is not only a reflection on them, it's also a reflection on us. When the people want the impossible, only liars can satisfy. That's a dope quote right there. The fact that so many successful politicians are such shameless liars, it's not only a reflection on them, it's also a reflection on us. When the people want the impossible, only liars can satisfy. That's a good one. Pete Hegseth coming out swinging here. He says, so let me get this straight. Although he misspelled it. He said, so let's me get this straight. So either we're trying to say, let's get this straight, or let me get this straight. I'm a stickler for spelling errors and punctuation errors. Grammatical errors. I used to be the assistant editor of the opinion page, so I love kind of tweaking things. It's part of what I do. So let's get this straight. The Atlantic, says Pete Hegseth, the Atlantic released the so-called war plans, and those plans include no names, no targets, no locations, no units, no routes, no sources, no methods, and no classified information. Those are some really shitty war plans. This only proves one thing. Jeff Goldberg has never seen a war plan or an attack plan, as he now calls it. Not even close. As I type this, my team and I are traveling the Indapacom region. I don't know what Indapacom. Indapacom? C-A-M or C-O-M? How is that spelled? Oh, Indapacom. Unified Combatant Command of the U.S. Armed Forces responsible for the Indo-Pacific region. Okay, Indo is... There we go. Indo-Pacific Command. Headquartered in Honolulu, Hawaii, oversees an area covering 52% of the Earth's surface, from the west coast of the U.S. to the eastern maritime borders of India, from the Arctic to the Antarctic. Focused on maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific, deterring adversaries, supporting allies through military presence, partnerships, and readiness. Yeah. You had pirates. You had pirates. Barbary pirates. Robbing vessels, robbing ships at the seas, trying to engage in commerce to and from the colonies. Thomas Jefferson said, F that S, we're starting. Hang on. Jefferson started Barbary pirates, started the Navy. There's Navy, there's Marines. No, he didn't start the pirates. He started... Who started Navy? U.S. Jefferson. Okay, Jefferson did not establish the Navy. He played a significant role in its early use and development, particularly during the Barbary Wars. The U.S. Navy was officially founded in 1775 during the American Revolution, when the Continental Congress authorized the creation of a naval force to intercept British supply ships. That was when Jacob D. Haven, my ancestor, was raiding these British supply ships. Predating Jefferson's presidency by decades, they were modest converted merchant ships. The Naval Act of 1794, signed by Washington, reestablished the Navy and authorized construction of 6 frigates, like the USS Constitution. When Jefferson became president in 1801, the Navy was small but operational with 25 ships. Jefferson, often portrayed as a small government advocate, wary of standing armies, didn't oppose the Navy's existence, contrary to some myths. He saw its value in protecting American commerce, especially against the Barbary pirates. When Tripoli declared war on the U.S. in May of 1801, Jefferson quickly deployed naval squadrons to the Mediterranean, initiating the First Barbary War, 1801 to 1805. He didn't start the Navy, but he was the first president to use it in a sustained overseas conflict, proving its worth. His administration also supported building similar cost-effective gunboats over large frigates, reflecting his strategic priorities. So, the Navy began by Continental Congress in 75, formalized in 94 under Washington. Jefferson didn't create it, but he shaped its early legacy by committing it to America's first foreign war. Yeah, that's a lot of context. I know, like Jefferson started the Navy. I'm like, I know that's not right. But he went after the Barbary pirates, and President Trump just smashed the Houthi pirates. They were Pittsburgh Pirates. Baseball, opening day. It's all come full circle. Ding, 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 ding. That's a synchronicity award. Everybody drink. That's some good synchronicity. Or is it a segue? That's a good segue-nicity. Anyway, that was the rabbit hole I went down because I didn't know what Indapacom region was. But that was why they went after the Houthis. They're messing with ships, and maybe only 2%, a small percent of those ships were American. There were a lot of ships that were getting hassled, and it was driving up the prices on everything everywhere because they had to go a much longer route to avoid that path. So mess around, find out. Biden was allowing it. Trump stopped it. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. Anyway, Hegseth continues, as I type this, my team and I are traveling the Indapacom region, meeting with the commanders, the guys who make real war plans, and talking to troops. We will continue to do our job while the media does what it does best, peddle hoaxes. So there you go. No. Compare Kamala Harris to Vice President J.D. Vance. What a difference a leader makes.
No more quotas, no more ridiculous mumbo jumbo, no more diversity trainings. We believe the real strength and the real diversity in the United States Marine Corps is that you all come from every walk of life, come from every corner of America, and you have got the strength and the purpose to win the nation's wars, and that is what the Marine Corps is going to do, just like it's done for damn near 250 years. No more quotas, no more ridiculous mumbo jumbo, no more diversity trainings.
I'll let it say one more time. We believe that
the real strength and the real diversity.
Yeah, diversity is our strength. No, it's not. No, finally people are calling that out as being the dumbest phrase ever. If you're on a baseball team, it's not diversity. It's about joining the team and buying into the plan and being all apart, moving in the same direction. Focusing on non-essential characteristics Oh, you're from Cuba. Oh, you're from the Dominican Republic. Oh, you're from Japan. Oh, you're from Texas. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. You're here on the Cleveland Indians right now. Cleveland Guardians. Ugh. It really has taken some of the joy away from me with baseball, because it's every time I have to say that it's something other than the Cleveland Indians, it's an admission that I've bent a knee. And I still refuse to buy any merchandise that has Guardians on it. I've battled with this. I know a lot of people that have just left baseball because of it. They're like, they stole my team. I'm done. I'm out. I'm not going to games. I'm not spending money. I'm not doing it. It's been hard. I'm trying not to let it make me petty. But I don't think what they did is petty. I think it's relevant. I think it's important. I think we need to push to restore our team. But we said, what a difference a real administration makes. Never allow Democrats to take power anywhere again. Diversity isn't your strength.
In the United States Marine Corps is that you all come from every walk of life, come from every corner of America, and you have got the strength and the purpose to win the nation's wars, and that is what the Marine Corps is going to do, just like it's done for damn near 250 years.
You come from anywhere. You come from everywhere. Awesome. But now we're all playing on the same team together. We're not going to focus on the differences. We're focusing on the battle plans. We're focusing on the mission. We're focusing on excellence. We're not going to focus on things we can't change. Can't change who my parents are. Can't change where I grew up. I'm not going to focus on it because it's irrelevant. These airlines, we're half of our flight crew, they're going to be black. Half of our flight crew, they're going to be women. Half of our flight crew. None of that matters. What matters is 100% of our flight crew is going to be the best of the best. That's all that counts. Can you do the job? I agree that you shouldn't be actively discriminating against anybody who's qualified. That's where it stops. But the Obama doctrine has been to focus on all of the uncontrollable characteristics, and it divides our culture. J.D. Vance is reunifying it based on mission. So that's good. What is going on there? Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene at a hearing talking about how the heads of NPR and PBS, what are they up to pushing political propaganda and slant?
In fact, when Elon Musk put his hand over his heart and extended it and told the American people his heart goes out to them, PBS News posted the clip, called it a fascist Nazi salute, and described how it was similar to the same Heil used by Nazis at their victory rallies. Not once did PBS or NPR report on the numerous accounts of Democrats making the same gesture. AOC, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Elizabeth Warren, somebody that lost a presidential race, Hillary Clinton, Governor Tim Walz. Why wasn't this treated exactly the same way? Is there not a standard in journalism today? Apparently not. In fact, when
we said it's time for the radical Leninist, Marxist, communist slant to stop in its tracks. No more stealing our tax dollars to indoctrinate Americans with divisive globalist garbage. So there's no sound to this. This guy's in this guy's face, getting all up in his face, being super aggressive. Mr. Guns in Gear saying this guy with the afro is Tennessee Democrat Representative Justin J. Pearson, who's confronting Republican Representative Andrew Farmer during a House hearing. The aggressor here was trying to hold on. Hold on, I'm confused here. Okay, yeah. Pearson is the aggressor. Oh, that's why. Pearson is trying to remove constitutional carry protections for Tennessee residents. There's a tyrant. That's a tyrant. Anybody trying to remove constitutionally protected self-defense rights is a tyrant, and a traitor. Recall him from office immediately. Button. Yeah, so that aggressor is trying to remove constitutional carry protections from Tennessee residents. The guy who's getting yelled at here, he apparently said something about how Pearson doesn't show up for work much. And that's when Pearson aggressively approached Farmer, repeatedly saying, "Don't you ever come at me or my family." Very odd reaction, but Pearson also has adopted an odd 1960s Southern preacher accent. I've seen this guy before, which he never used up until a couple years ago, so he's an odd guy. I do recall seeing this guy before. Very goofy grandstander. If they're coming after your self-defense rights, they're a tyrant. Liz Wheeler, is this, let me switch the dynamic here. No, it's Guardians, Ken. You don't spell it with the Y. Or do you? Liz Wheeler here. I'll just make that the big screen. Hang on. There we go. Jeffrey Goldberg is a liar. He lied about Trump not saying suckers and losers. Remember that hoax? He lied about Trump not praising Nazi generals. Now he's lying about the Signal chat. There were never any war plans in that chat. Goldberg lied and said he'd never publish the rest of the texts. And then he did. It says, then did he? Proving himself to be a liar, who also lied about the content of the messages. Once a liar, always a liar. He hates Trump. He hates you. This was all obvious from the moment he published his silly diary entry. I got added to the cool kids table. All the outrage is fake. None of the leftists screeching about security said one word when General Mark Milley told China he'd warn them if Trump was going to attack. That's pure treason. None of these fools cared if Hillary's homebrew email server was hacked by foreign adversaries, because it apparently, allegedly, reportedly was. All of these leftist morons defending Hunter Biden, selling access to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden stashing classified docs in his garage. The outrage is fake. The same people who staged a massive character assassination of Pete Hegseth 1 month ago are now calling for him to resign. Shocking. Signal is preloaded on Department of Defense phones. It's not a scandal. Mike Walls told Laura Ingraham last night that a staffer is not responsible for accidentally adding Goldberg to the chat. He is. That's the only juicy, scandalous part of this whole drama. Why Jeffrey Goldberg's name was the first drop down on Mike Walls' phone when Walls typed JG to add someone with similar initials to the chat? If I were President Trump, I'd be mighty curious about that. And they're also saying it might have been a staffer. There's back and forth on that.
I keep telling you guys, these tariffs are working. So on April 2nd, President Trump is going to
Here's some tariff chat.
impose reciprocal tariffs on every single country that has tariffs against the United States. That simply means if a country charges us, we're going to charge them the exact same amount. And it's only fair. Well, Vietnam, in response to that, will be cutting tariffs on American products. Who would have thought? This kind of reminds me of Matthew 7:12. Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. Now we finally got around to the do also to them part. So from now on, the 5% tariff Vietnam had on American LNG will go to 2%. The one they had on American cars, which ranged from 45% to 64%, will now drop to 32%. I honestly didn't think it was this bad. 64% tariff on American products. And we're probably their main business partner. And of course we are. We make up 30% of their GDP. They had a 10% tariff on American ethanol, and it's going to drop to 5%. All this means is that American companies will now be competitive on the global.
It reminds me of this guy, Tay Zonde, the chocolate rain guy. But it's not. But I did have the thought. I wanted to share it with you.
Companies can get bigger and sell more and hire more people and thereby bringing more money back to this country. Trump obviously wants to restructure our economy from being services based back to being manufacturing based. And back when we manufactured things, people were richer and could afford a better life. Yeah, we have more things in the 21st century in the United States, but we're not actually living better lives. I'm just reading off my notes here to see if I missed anything. Okay. Yeah, they're also cutting duties on imports including American chicken, almonds, apples, cherries, and wooden products. We really were the world's sugar daddy. I keep telling you guys.
These tariffs are resetting how everything is handled. And I'm here for it. Representative Thomas Massie has introduced a bill requiring federal candidates to disclose all countries where they hold citizenship. It's called the Dual Loyalty Disclosure Act. I love this so much.
Conservative.
So much. And I saw this. I don't know what's going on. Could this possibly be true? Attached to this? I don't know what this report is. It sounds like a parody.
Christian leaders are calling on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to stop a bill proposed by members of his coalition to make it criminal to tell people about Jesus in Israel. Our Jerusalem correspondent Daniel Cohen is live near Tel Aviv with more. Good morning, Daniel.
That doesn't sound right at all.
Good morning, Allison. Good morning, everyone. A big story just before days before Palm Sunday, Good Friday, and Easter. Sacred time for Christians. Two ultra-Orthodox members of Prime Minister Netanyahu's coalition have introduced a bill that would punish believers for sharing the gospel of Jesus with prison time. United Torah Judaism Knesset members Moshe Gafni and Yaakov Asher introduced legislation last week making it illegal to share in conversation or produce content online, in print, or by mail.
Oh, come on.
Their explanation of the bill emphasizes a warning to stop Christians in particular. The punishment, 1 year in prison or 2 years for sharing with someone under the age of 18.
Conservative Christian leaders are calling on Prime Minister
Let's do a deep dive on this. I saw this. Let's talk about it. What is Grok telling us? To be clear, there is no clear, credible evidence of a current active push to ban discussion of King Jesus Christ in Israel as of now. However, claims of such a ban have circulated, particularly on social media like X, and appear to stem from misinterpretations or exaggerations of past legislative proposals. In 23, a bill was proposed by two ultra-Orthodox Israelis, lawmakers from the United Torah. Oh, the Torah. I don't think we're ready to have the Torah conversation about how disrespectful they are to King Jesus Christ in there. That bill was aimed to amend Israel's anti-missionary laws to prohibit all forms of religious solicitation. Okay, then that's exactly what they're talking about, sounds like. To prohibit all forms of religious solicitation or discussion, including Christian proselytizing, with penalties of up to a year in prison or 2 years if directed at minors. The stated intent was to curb missionary activities perceived as targeting vulnerable populations, not to ban all discussions of Jesus. The proposal sparked significant backlash from Christian communities and free speech advocates, leading Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to intervene. On March 21 of 23, he publicly stated on X that Israel would not advance legislation against the Christian faith, effectively halting the bill. Despite that, this is according to a Grok post, and this is according to 15 web pages, including, will it populate? Will it show? Al Jazeera, New York Times, Times of Israel, Variety, NPR, Yahoo. All of these are referenced here. Despite this, posts on X from 23 and as recently as March 25 claim that Israel is seeking to ban Jesus or imprison Christians for mentioning his name. These posts often lack primary sources or cite outdated or unverified reports suggesting a persistent rumor rather than a factual development. For instance, in a 23 post claimed the bill would outlaw talk about Jesus, while 25 post escalated this to a 2-year prison sentence for mentioning Jesus, claims that exaggerate the original proposal and ignore its rejection. Israel's legal framework does restrict certain missionary activities under the 77 penal law, which prohibits offering material benefits to induce religious conversion. However, freedom of religion is enshrined in Israel's Declaration of Independence and upheld in practice, allowing Christians to discuss and practice their faith, including reverence for Jesus as king or otherwise, without broad prohibition. Because the phrase, Christ is king, is being what do they call it? Gaslit or strawmanned? What's the best way to demonized? Oh, if you say Christ is king, that's a bad thing. It's funny you should say that. That tells me more about you than me, but good times. So recent news from Al Jazeera, Times of Israel, focuses on ongoing conflicts and political shifts, but contains no mention of a renewed effort to ban Christian discourse. Yeah, but it's effed up that it happened in the first place, especially since the territory you occupy. Oh, that's a great question. I actually did a show, Kenneth, was Jesus Christ a socialist? Because I had a guest on, I saw something they posted that Christ was a socialist. I'm like, oh, hell no. So we did if you scroll back on, let me see. Okay, that did not search my content. Here, I'll search my content. There we go. We did this. We did an episode called Jesus Was a Socialist. We had Aaron Califato on to discuss religion and politics. 9 years ago. What year are we in now? So this was like 2014. Where was I at there? Oh, I guess that was my Los Angeles room. Look at all these old videos. Look at these old videos, people. I typed in Christ or Jesus. So yeah, we did a whole thing about Jesus was a socialist. I disagreed. Yeah, Christ would be MAGA. Do you agree or disagree that Jesus Christ would be a MAGA member? He would first want to make his country as great as possible, and he would encourage everybody to engage in personal acts of charity to help their communities. Agree or disagree? It's a good question. Okay, let me go back. Oh, sorry, I had the wrong. There we go. Good stuff. Interviewing Dinesh D'Souza, Tea Party, John Correa. Hey, there's me with Kaya Jones. Laura Eisenhower. She's doing something with Mike Barra right now, some convention. There's me with my bad haircut. Brian does a live stream video that wonders how awesome it would have been to see Larry Elder, black, Milo, gay, Ben Shapiro, Jew, tear apart any disgusting statements made at the Charlottesville. Guess there's a conversation that was shut down. Oh, man. Talking with Stuart Rhodes all those years ago. John B. Wells. David Wilcock about aliens. Thanks for sending me on that little journey. Yeah, we got a lot of content over the years. Okay, we'll switch it back. Okay, so that I wanted to provide the context here. Actually, I'm gonna post the Grok answer here. Seems to be a narrative fueled by social media rather than a substantiated policy initiative in Israel today. Without fresh legislative proposals or official statements from 25, these claims remain unconfirmed and likely reflect lingering misinformation from the 23 incident. I'm going to add the context here. I'm going to post it. Let me share this tab instead. Context from Grok. Couldn't post the comment. Maybe it's too long. All right. So I was right to kind of feel like that was a little off, but anyway. Thomas Massey pushing for clear explanation if you have dual allegiance. That's super important. And that's often cited regarding Israel for some reason. I don't quite understand it. All right, Ken, you think that Jesus would likely be MAGA? I think so. I don't think Jesus was particularly infatuated with dividing people by race, by color, by creed, I don't think so at all. That's the Democrats. I mean, it's that Democrat party is just something else. All right, here, let me minimize me so you can read what's on the screen. Okay, DC Drano says, remember in 2018 when Trump got impeached for a perfect phone call to Vladimir Zelensky? Turns out a low-level staffer on the call was a CIA rat who set Trump up. Same deal with Signalgate. Someone on DNI or SecDef's team, Secretary of Defense, is a CIA rat who set this up, according to DC Drano. Deep state pulling the same tricks is the allegation. DC Drano continues, when I first heard about the Signal chat, I thought, how did a reporter get added to a small chat with 4 or 5 top Trump administration officials without anyone knowing? Then I saw the actual group text list. It had almost 24 people in it, mostly non-senior folks, and many only identified by their initials. Now I'm almost certain about what happened. A corrupted staffer added the journalist as part of a deep state hit to attack the Trump administration. Fire whoever did it. So there's a picture of the Houthi PC small group. I'm on there twice. Brian. I didn't get the memo because whatever. Yeah, it says JG. Was that were the initials just JG? Old School Fanatic is saying, let's not forget, because it looks like they're kind of blaming this Wong guy. Old School Fanatic says, let's not forget there was absolutely no pushback from the Democrats when Wong was appointed. It's almost like they knew. Toxic Masculinity says, it sounds like foreign espionage and someone needs to sit in a prison cell. Kelly says, fire Wong, definitely a setup. It was Wong, very Wong. There's your quote of there's your joke. There's your punchline. I mean, I was making that joke as soon as I heard his name as well. And that's the thing. Sometimes comedies just you hear things and it's all out in the zeitgeist anyway. Like, did you think of that joke? Or you? Oh yeah, you got a patent on saying Wong is wrong. Oh wow, nobody would have ever thought of that. I guess it's kind of about context. Yeah, it's time to set up traps to catch these people. Susie Wiles, okay, on there twice. Anyway. DC Drano asking, did Laura Loomer just uncover who added the Atlantic reporter to the group chat? Remember, it wasn't only high-level folks on it. It had staff too, and it looks like one of them corruptly tried to set Trump up. Laura Loomer saying, Alex Wong, the Chinese Deputy National Security Advisor appointed by President Trump, who is at the center of the Signalgate scandal, is married to U.S. Attorney Candace Chiu Wong, a Chinese woman who was one of the key attorneys involved in prosecuting J6ers. Well, I mean, if you're working in the area and you're prosecuting, like, there is a potential that there's overlap. I don't know that this is exactly evidence. Alex Wong, I mean, look, he was appointed by President Trump on November 22nd of 24 to serve as the assistant to the president and principal deputy director, assistant to the president and the principal deputy national security advisor under Walz, Mike Waltz, the newly appointed U.S. National Security Advisor. So Alex's wife worked under the Obama administration, the Biden administration, as assistant U.S. attorney in the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, where she led the violence reduction and trafficking offenses section for more than 2 years, involved in the prosecution of many J6ers during the Biden regime, under which she was nominated to become a member of the United States Sentencing Commission. Additionally, Candace Chiu Wong served as a law clerk to Obama-appointed U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. Has Sotomayor voted on anything the right way? Making matters worse, Alex Wong worked for Covington and Burling, one of the law firms President recently stripped of its security clearance and terminated all their government contracts via executive order on February 25 of 25. Trump accused Covington of being involved in the weaponization of government. So there's loose correlations here. But it continues. Why do we have a Chinese deputy national security advisor married to a Chinese U.S. attorney who worked under Obama and Biden, who helped prosecute J6 staffers after the stolen 2020 election? Oh, by the way, you need to go to CISA.gov/rumor control, because CISA says 2020 was the only completely legitimate election in the history of elections. Countervailing views, I have to say, under duress on YouTube. Anyway, she continues, this is unacceptable and given the Chinese connections, it makes you wonder if Jeffrey Goldberg, the Atlantic reporter who was added to the Trump signal chat on purpose, is part of a foreign operation to embarrass the Trump administration on behalf of China. Alex Wong should be removed from his position, and both he and his wife should be investigated by the FBI, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino. What are the receipts? I don't see the receipts. Well, I'm thrilled to have Alex Wong, NSC. There you go. All right. She was told that one of Michael's people on the phone said a staffer had his number on there. Mike Waltz. Wonder why type of vetting was done on Wong and his wife. Anyway, I don't know that based on that, I don't know that I'm finding the smoking gun per se. But yeah, you absolutely have to investigate it. Yeah, what's wrong with investigating this? I know that joke is a little Wong in the tooth, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with investigating the story. I mean, can't you go back and figure out who added who and how and why and right? I can't tell you how many times, though, I typed something. What did I type yesterday? I typed crockpot. And it changed it to clock pot, leading to some jokes about cockpot and other pots. Auto correct is more like auto incorrect these days. I type things, I send things, and I go, oh, I did not write that. I know exactly what I wrote. I typed it. Then they change it. I don't know. You type on a J and then the thing comes up, you tap it and you go. Maybe it changed it. Maybe. Do you do that on your phone where you're ready to tap something and all of a sudden an alert comes up and you hit a tab and now it opens up a new app and you're like, oh, I did not want that. There should be something when you tap an app that's scrolling across the top of the screen. It should give you a second prompt and go, do you want me to open this and view this? I go, no. Like, don't take me off of what I'm doing to load something for 2 seconds. Then it's another loading for a second and a half, and I'm 5-10 seconds away, and I got to hit the bottom left button. I got to figure out how to navigate back to what I was doing. That should be a thing. I don't know. It's irritating to me. So I understand. I mean, Trump was asked about it. He goes, that's just something that happens. Waltz is a good guy. He's a really good guy. This is from the Babylon Bee here. Pete Hegseth is kicking himself for not just getting 17 soldiers killed and giving $80 billion in weapons to terrorists. He's kicking himself for not just getting 17 soldiers killed and giving $80 billion in weapons to terrorists. Spare me your nothing burger story. Spare me. I said, sir. Yeah, I did. I've been doing the Elon, and I really love my RFK. Someone told me to not do the RFK because I'm making fun of somebody that has a disability. I'm like, I'm just imitating what I hear. I'm just talking as he talks, and I will not stop myself from doing it. Will not. I love my RFK. I got to work on laid back, reserved Trump. I had campaign Trump, but it is a little tough on the throat. Like, I like certain rock music, but if I try to sing that way, if I do it the wrong way, it'll blow my voice out, and that's no good. Remember, the Tim Waltz couldn't load a shotgun, but J.D. Vance can perfectly shoot a M240B medium machine gun at Quantico. Remember this the next time Governor of Minnesota starts spouting off about beating up conservatives. Okay, switch the... I couldn't do a drunk Trump because Trump doesn't drink. It's not his style. It's not what he do. You'd have a beer with Jesus or a beer with JD? I'd have wine with Jesus. Oh, yeah. But back in the day, fermenting these beverages is how you cleaned them of the parasites and stuff and the bacteria. Ferment them and cook them out. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, like in the early settler days, like everybody was drunk all the time. Everybody was only drinking beer and liquor because that was safe. You could drink from a stream and get cholera and die, get dysentery, and you're gone. Different days. Josh Lippincott says Joe Biden worked. Am I on the right screen? Yes. Okay. Joe Biden worked to systemically cleanse white men from the federal judiciary. 86% of his judicial nominees were women or BIPOC. What is BIPOC? People of color. What does bi mean in that? Black indigenous. Okay. Like they're gay. From January 21 to August 24, the Senate confirmed 200 new federal judges nominated by President Biden. Only 28%, that's only 14%, I'm sorry, only 28 of them, 14% of the new federal judges were white men. The remaining 172 were female, Black, Hispanic, and Asian, and Native American, or layers of mixed race or ethnicity. Wow. Ben Talmadge saying a third of all D.C. district judges were not even born in the United States. Is it worth asking if judges with ties to foreign nations and cultures are the right ones to make decisions affecting U.S. military or immigration? Guys, I am shocked by this. Also shocking, look what Colin Rugg is showing here. According to NBC6, there's a man that stopped his car in the middle of the road in front of the police car. And he then got out of the car to talk to the officer. On his way back to the car, he was jumped by the thugs who beat him with a bike and demolished his car. The female officer stayed in her car while the man was brutally beaten. It wasn't until other officers arrived that the female cop got out of her car and walked over. The members of the Miami Police Department understand and take great pride in upholding their responsibility to protect and serve our community. We must act for the betterment of our community, said Miami Police Chief Manuel Morales. This person is getting absolutely destroyed here. This is attempted murder. Kicking people in the head. Yeah, you could cause a brain bleed. Concussion. That is you have to fire this police officer. You need to come out with pepper spray blazing, stun gun going. And if there's an attempted murder in the street, you bring out the weapon. And you make commands. If they don't listen, you take them out. You save a life. Fire lady, incompetent lady cop button. Yeah, it's observe and report, not protect and serve. Just remember that. Don't assume that cops are going to help you. That's a good assumption. Now, I'm wondering if this was a skit.
Now in Santander Bank, right?
What are you doing, sir?
I'm filming you and I'm recording this conversation. I'm coming to the bank to withdraw £2,500. Are you going to let me? I've got £11,500 in my account. Are you going to let me? Are you going to let me to have the money or not?
So Jim Ferguson is showing this. Britain says you no longer control your own money. A UK father tried to withdraw £2,500 of his own money to buy a motorbike for his son, and the bank's response was, "You'll need to prove how you're going to spend it. Access denied with no legal wrongdoing. When he questioned it, they called security. This isn't a one-off. This is the new normal. If that's the new normal, leave the banks."
Hello, are you going to let me have the money or not? Huh?
Unfortunately, I can't remove that restriction that's on there.
You can't remove this restriction. You can't remove restriction, okay. After your colleague told me that I'm a liar, yeah? So your colleague told me I'm a liar yesterday. I've come in to withdraw £2,500, yeah? And you're not going to let me have my money today, is that right?
But you can still use your card.
I'm not, to answer the question, please, yeah? I can still use my card. Are you going to let me withdraw £2,500 from my account today, yes or no, in the branch?
And what is the £2,500 for, Mr. Jackson?
Buying a motorbike for my son.
Right, okay, so have you got any evidence of the motorbike you
No, I haven't got any evidence of.
Do you have evidence of what you're going to do with your money? Guys, you got to be very concerned about this totalitarian stuff. If Harris was allowed a fifth Obama term, oh my God. UK is a mess. Ireland is a mess. Canada is a mess. The United States is such a mess. You got to be very careful of where we're headed. We are one stolen election away. Look at the damage they caused. Look at the damage being caused globally. You do not hate these people enough. This might be a skit. I got a hunch this is a skit, but I've seen so many of these stories, I believe it.
Motorbike at all? No, I haven't got it, so I don't know what one I'm getting yet.
Okay, so if you don't know what you're getting, how do you know how much you need?
Because I've got a budget.
How do you know how much you need? I'll take whatever I damn well please.
I've got a budget of £2,500 for the motorbike, so that's why I want to withdraw £2,500 from my account today.
Right,
Yeah.
so when you find the bike for your son, if you can show us some evidence of that.
So you're not. So I need to
show you evidence that you're going to buy a bike for your son. Excuse me, you're not my parent. I feel like this is a skit. I don't know if this is a skit or not, but like I said, I've heard this story so often.
Evidence. So I need to show you evidence. I'm doing it. Really?
You can't film me without my permission, sir. You cannot film me.
So you're not going to give me the money, no?
I'm going to hang up this immediately.
Absolute joke,
okay,
this
I'm
place.
Call the security.
Absolute jokes. You're an absolute joke, this place. Won't let me.
Can I have
Right.
a word with
I'm now in Santander Bank, right?
What are you doing, sir?
I'm filming you and I'm recording this conversation. I'm coming to.
Jeez, I don't know what to make of this. Did I leave a comment asking if this is a skit? I'm gonna do it right now. Is this a skit? This feels like a skit. Is this a skit? Looks like Nimbus is up from his long winter's nap. Yeah, that is actually what we posted. Beware the banks. But is this a skit? We've been hearing similar stories recently, and is there a banking problem brewing? We have lots of questions. Come on up. You want to say hi to the people? Come on. You got to walk forward. Go this way. There we go. Nimbus making an appearance. Okay, but let's not jump onto things. Let's just sit here. Nice and polite like. There, like that. Can you guys see Nimbus? Kablamo, buddy. Can you hear him purring? He had a nice nap. Put up a new cat bed for him by the window. Yes, a Nimbus stop. Well, you don't need to climb up there, though. I just wanted to show you to everybody because you're my co-host, buddy. You are my favorite co-host on the show. I just don't like him walking all over the computer keyboard and the mouse and all of those things. So anyway, lots of questions about this. What's next? FBI Director Kash Patel says, breaking tonight, I can report yet another successful operation from our brave field agents and our regional partners in an ongoing mission to break the drug cartels. Earlier today, our teams executed a takedown and arrested 22 members of a narcotics trafficking ring in Lubbock, Texas, one who we believe to be working with the Mexican cartels. This coming from Real America's Voice. Our FBI Dallas team did incredible work partnering with Texas law enforcement officers, DEA headquarters, and others. These are the operations that mean safer streets for American families, and we're just getting started. Make dirt bags afraid again button. That's good news. Come on. It doesn't get much funnier than this, people. Actually, I need to put that on. This should be like a standalone on Instagram. Netflix likes to race change established characters. Well, erase white characters and change them to non-white people. Actually, what is the example? Netflix remove white character for other race. So I know Disney did it. I'm trying to remember like what Race swapping, yes. Oh, yeah, Cleopatra, that was it. She's Macedonian and Greek. So they cast a black actress there for a Macedonian Greek person. I don't think me playing Malcolm X in a biopic makes a lot of sense. Because I'm not that. I know Hamilton doesn't make sense. Got a bunch of people rapping. Go ahead and rap, but I mean, like the characters are just not black. Some say it doesn't matter. It's like, does it matter if you hold a baseball bat when you're playing in a baseball movie, or could you hold a cricket stick? Could you hold a golf club? Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Well, no, certain things matter. Certain things that are like key to the story. I don't think I'd make a great Malcolm X. I don't know. Yeah, Cleopatra. Macedonian Greek, they made her black. Painkiller. White investigators with a fictional black female character. In reality, a composite character for narrative purposes. More recently, oh, there we go. More recently, this is the one. The 2025 series Adolescence drew fire for allegedly race swapping its main character. So this was inspired by real United Kingdom crimes, knife crimes, often tied statistically to young black males as per the Office for National Statistics data. The show features a white teenage boy as the bad guy, though. Posts on X and commentary from outlets like EV Magazine slammed Netflix for turning a black teen stabber into a white boy radicalized by Andrew Tate memes, suggesting an anti-white bias. The show's co-creator, Jack Thorne, countered that it's not based on any one true story and focuses on masculinity, not race. Still, the perception of swapping persists, fueled by Netflix's reputation. All right, so there you go. Nimbus, don't climb up that back way, please. Don't do that. But this meme is hilarious. Elon saying from my heart to you. And there you got the Democrat leader, this Jasmine crock of crap, doing the same exact arm motion. Isn't that great? Yeah, I couldn't do Malcolm X, but maybe I could do Malcolm in the Middle. Okay, that was funny. So check this one out. According to who shared this? Well, the New American Media shared it. Looks like American Thinker. Did you know that the D.C. judge who forced the Trump administration to temporarily restore funding for foreign aid, Amir Hatem Mahdi Ali, only became a U.S. citizen in 2019 and holds a dual citizenship with Canada? A dual citizenship. That sounds like mixed allegiances. You can't play baseball for the Cleveland Guardians and also play for the New York Yankees. You got to pick a team. Dual citizenship, I think you should be banned from being a judge or being a politician. I want to know that you're on Team America. I want to know that you're MAGA. I don't want you rooting for Canada. I don't want you rooting for Israel. I don't want you rooting for anybody but America if you're going to be an American judge, if you're going to be an American politician. You cannot play for the Cleveland Guardians baseball team and the New York Yankees baseball team. Pick one team. I don't care which one you pick. Pick whatever team you want to sign with. But when you're there, you're going to work to further the best interests of those people involved. Nimbus, what are you doing? Jump here first. Come on. He's running around doing his midday kitty rodeo. Julius Ruckel here says, your periodic reminder. No music. Can't have music. Social media hates music. Julius Ruckel says, here's your periodic reminder that a cow cannot add a single atom of carbon to the environment that wasn't previously removed from the atmosphere by a plant. So cows cannot increase atmospheric carbon dioxide. They merely recycle carbon dioxide. It's not a new source of carbon. By the way, go to Countervailing Views because Google, YouTube love to push the green new scam. It's a mechanism for power and control. And they can say that you have dangerous misinformation. regarding carbon dioxide and cows and farting and blah, 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 blah. Don't hate YouTube Google enough. Anyway, according to this person, cows cannot increase atmospheric carbon dioxide. They merely recycle carbon dioxide. It's not a new source of carbon. And without cows, bacteria would, over time, rot plant fibers and return the exact same amount of carbon to the atmosphere. But grazing cows help grass sod fix carbon in the soil, thus increasing soil fertility over time. The climate crusade is built on scientific fraud. And many of the proposed solutions, like reducing cows, are directly causing much of the soil degradation and forest fires because of ungrazed fuel in the forest. Anyways, okay. You get the point. I feel like eggs and beef are the best things you can eat. I feel that way. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I feel that way. Amir, something's amiss. There's something amiss, Amir. Oh, you're watching the Miss America pageant. Ah, my mistake. Check this out. According to We Are Breitbart, I'm going to do make criminal dirt bags afraid again button. According to We Are Breitbart, nope, I can't do it from the screen. Let me go back. Well, just change the screen. There we are. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents recently detained more than 600 criminal illegals in Greater Houston within a single week, the department said in a press release. ICE during an operation from Feb 23 to March 2, including 543 aliens with criminal charges and 7 alleged to be gang members. Nexstar Media Group's BorderReport.com relayed. The 543 detainees all entered the U.S. illegally and have been charged or convicted of a criminal offense while they were illegally present, according to an ICE statement. Those taken into custody include 140 charged or convicted of an aggravated felony or other violent offense, such as homicide, aggravated assault, or domestic violence. Now, just jump up. Come on. Up. There you go. Maybe just off the computer tab, though. You can stay right here. Violent offense such as homicide, aggravated assault, or domestic violence. In addition, 34 of those detained are criminal aliens charged or convicted of a sex offense or child abuse case, such as aggravated assault of a minor, possession of child materials, or super abuse. Oh, your tail got cut. He wants to be up here and then walking all over everything. Deuces. Goodbye, dirtbags. Brett Bradford, director of ICE Enforcement and Removal Operations Houston Field Office, said his agency executed 71 criminal arrest warrants as part of the 7-day-long targeted operation. ICE coordinated with other federal and state agencies to pull off the 646 detentions. Among those involved were U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and the Explosives, the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Administration. Bravo, people. Let's remove the dirt bags. President Trump being asked, would you be
interested in defunding and taking away taxpayer dollars to NPR and PBS?
Well, I would love to do that. I think it's very unfair. It's been very biased. The whole group, a whole group of them.
As luck would have it, the House DOJ Committee welcomed the presidents of NPR and PBS for a hearing today.
You called him a deranged racist and sociopath. You posted on X that America is addicted to white supremacy. It's appalling. You've publicly chastised using the phrase.
It is appalling. These people are so gross with their Obama doctrine. Everything is caked in race. Everything is a subtle warning, a subtle threat. hey, you better go along with what I'm saying or I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to slander and defame you. I will ruin your reputation. I will take you out. That's the Obama way. And using the phrase boy
and girl, the federal funding that your outlet receives comes from all American taxpayer dollars, not just from your viewers who support such statements as these.
We spend $500 million a year for these stations to call half the country illiterate Nazis. Why are taxpayers funding channels for snobby women with dirty tote bags whose liberal dogs bite me while I'm hiking?
Dirty tote
I don't
bags.
know. You turn on the radio or Sirius or Spotify, there's thousands of stations. Why are we funding the one station that shows drag queens to kids?
Yeah,
NPR and PBS have increasingly become radical left-wing echo chambers for a narrow audience of mostly wealthy, white, urban liberals and progressives who generally look down on and judge rural America. PBS News is not just left-leaning, but it is actively uses taxpayer funds to push some of the most radical left positions, like featuring a drag queen on the show Let's Learn.
No wonder all these kids think they're trans. They've grown up on Drag Queen Story Hour.
I wrote this book because I wanted everyone to get to experience the magic of drag and to get a little practice shaking their hips or shimmying their shoulders to know how we can feel fabulous inside of our own bodies.
No.
Shaking your hips? Why is a guy wearing makeup and a dress telling kids to shimmy, shimmy, shake?
No. Inappropriate. Age inappropriate. Do what you want at 18. Do what you want. It's not appropriate for kids.
And why are we paying for it?
No.
Democrats are cool with it.
You're not fetishizing or sexualizing kids. You're not getting away with it anymore. Another part of the Obama doctrine. Kind of weird.
They treated the...
Remember, they called J.D. Vance weird? Thou protesteth too much. Thou projecteth too much.
The whole hearing like a joke.
Is Elmo now, or has he ever been, a member of the Communist Party of the United States? A yes or no?
No.
Are Bert and Ernie part of an extreme homosexual agenda?
No.
If we're going to get rid of any puppeteers, we should get rid of the one that's actually controlling Donald Trump. Fire Elon Musk and save Elmo.
Would you be interested in defunding?
Dork. Yeah, defund all of the deep state propaganda ASAP button. Oh my gosh. All right, here's a little bit more talking about the freak out over the leaked signal chat.
Were there any names in the signal chat?
No.
Any targets?
No.
Any locations?
No.
Was there a unit name or location of that unit?
There was not.
Oh.
Were there any routes described in the signal chat?
No.
Wouldn't an operational plan contain that type of information?
Every operational plan I've ever seen has contained that information.
So when you go see a bunch of people on the left saying they leaked war plans, not true. First off, these wouldn't even be war plans, they would be attack plans. But even then, the attack plans were not leaked, as you can see. Now, could you argue there was some sensitive information in there? Yes. There's even a fair argument to be made that some of that information is typically classified. But I think here's the reality of this. I don't think we're hearing the end of this. I'm going to let some more things come out before I say anything else on what I was about to say. But I actually think there's a larger chance this is a desperation play from the left, having a hard time stopping what Trump is doing. He's relatively popular in doing it, and the left really doesn't know what to do or how to stop it. So they're grasping at straws. They're going to turn something like this into a major deal because
molehill into a mountain.
Because it's one of the only things they can possibly get their fingers on. They aren't popular with the American people right now. And Trump and the Republicans are more or less steamrolling them right now. Yeah. So I think they're trying to blow this up to the maximum amount because it's one of the only things they kind of have right now. I don't think it's near as big of a deal as they're making it out to be. Again, it seems like more desperation to me.
Agree. Sean Farash says the media... gotta change. Gotta change. There it is. The media cares more about the Signal story than they do about getting answers about the two people who tried to kill. They attempted to take out President Donald Trump. And that really says it all. Yeah, where is the information? Where are the damned detailed reports on those two $$, $, attempts? Why don't we have more information about the two people that tried to take out our president? Is this the same exact clip that I played earlier? It might be, but it's a good one. This is MAGA. I feel like Jesus Christ. That was a question that Ken asked earlier. Would Jesus be Democrat or Republican? I don't know. Would he make sense?
We don't care who you are, where you came from. We don't care what skin color you are.
Oh, they're going to flag me for the music. We don't care where you came from. We care about excellence. Care about patriotism. If you were awesome and you're a patriotic young Marine, then we are going to do everything we can to make you the most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. No more quotas, no more ridiculous mumbo jumbo, no more diversity trainings. We believe the real strength and the real diversity in the United States Marine Corps is that you all come from every walk of life, come from every corner of America, and you have got the strength and the purpose to win the nation's wars. That's what the Marine Corps is going to do, just like it's done for near 250 years. Yes, that was the same quote, I believe, but I couldn't play it because it had music, and YouTube hates music. I hate YouTube, though. So, who cares? Moving on. A question of the day, would you say J.D. Vance is the front runner for 2028? President Trump was asked maybe a month ago now, and he said no. He's doing a good job, though. Then he heard a rumbling, a little leak that maybe Don Jr. is the one they're going to try to put in. I don't know. What say you? John Rich here says kids can't read or write in cursive because public schools stopped teaching it. That means these kids don't have a real signature, and they can't read the original text of the Declaration of Independence or the United States Constitution. Tell me again why we need the Department of Education? Thank you. I like the idea of the American University. President Trump keeps talking about it. Make a nice, free university for anyone to use that'll give you the basics, that'll get you leveled up. I like it a lot. Oh, he called the name of his show Hot Mics with Billy Bush. Remember, Billy Bush got canceled because of that hot mic with Trump?
The producer of Snow White, Disney.
I haven't covered the Snow White story. I haven't covered the Snow White story. Here we go.
Producer Mark Platt flew to New York City to meet with Rachel's team. Please stop posting these things. Within the hour, something very interesting happened. The son of Disney producer Mark Platt, a guy named Jonah Platt, someone commented on his page, hey, your dad, what kind of jerk is he to fly to New York and censor a 20-year-old girl? He just fired back. This is like 30 minutes ago. You really want to do this? My dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand a 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity. This is called adult responsibility and accountability. And her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on the film. She hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie and its success. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. So, interesting, by the way, Jonah Platt, the kid who's standing up for his father. The other son of Mark Platt is Ben Platt, the great singer, Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh, what do you know?
So the producer...
Monumental missteps from Disney, ABC, ESPN. They need a complete enema to flush all of their toxic DEI garbage down the crapper. Make no mistake. Humanity does not want the divisive Obama doctrine drivel that they keep pushing. Ignore us at your own peril. We have been begging you all to stop. Actually, that's one that I'm going to copy and put in the Obama doctrine. I'm going to copy and paste this over here. I'm building up some chapters. Yeah, monumental missteps from Disney, ABC, ESPN. They need a complete enema to flush all their toxic DEI garbage down the crapper. Make no mistake, humanity does not want the divisive Obama doctrine drivel that they keep pushing. Ignore us at your own peril. We have been begging you all to stop. Will they keep ignoring us? Will they keep ignoring prophets? All right, have fun with that. I would run a kick-ass Disney department, I think.
And I will never shut.
All right, so Chino Valley School Board President Sonia Shaw spoke out about a high school male being #1 in California in girls track. She then received a cease and desist letter. Watch as she makes it clear what her thoughts are. She got a letter to cease and desist, speaking out about a high school male student being #1 in California girls track.
Shut up in regards to that. So this cease and desist, that's what I feel about that cease and desist. With that said, I got a cease and desist served here at the district for something I did on my own social media, talking about the unfairness of boys and girls sports. We're talking about biological males in girls sports. I'm talking as a mother of 2 female athletes. I'm talking as a community member and an advocate of female athletes and people I fight for all girls. I don't care if it's just in California, Chino, or the nation, but my job as a board member is to try to advocate for safety and fairness for our girls, not only in sports, but in their own locker rooms and restrooms. Just like when I heard that mom, I want to make sure we follow through and make sure that her child feels safe as well in regards to male and female differences. The problem that I have is I just said it was unfair and that a boy is stealing these opportunities from girls, because that's the truth. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I also have First Amendment rights, and I will never shut up in regards to that. So this cease and desist, that's what I feel about that cease and desist. I'm telling you right now, because it does affect our community. That boy winning titles does affect our community. Right now, #2 in the state is an Ayala female athlete. Her name is Jenna Morales, and I feel so fiercely protective over her because someone stole her first place medal, a boy. I'm sorry, that's not an attack on anybody other than she has been attacked. Our Ayala student, our Chino Valley student has had that stolen and ripped away from her. That I will go to my grave fighting for our girls. You can beat me up, you can say whatever you want, put death threats. Until our girls have safety, I will not stop this fight. They deserve protection, and that's what Title IX is, and I will never shut up in regards to that. So this cease and desist.
Bravo. We said preach. The mental madness must end. If your chromosomes include a Y, in sports you must compete with guys. You know what, though?
And I will never shut up in regards to that.
This belongs in the Obama doctrine, too. Sonia Shaw. Let me put that one in. Sonia Shaw, Chino Valley boy in girls sports. Mediocre men. You do not get to jump into a ladies' locker room in a ladies' competition, you bum. Go play with the guys. You got a chromosome advantage. Stay away. What's that? This just in. Left-wing journalist mistakenly handed note in high school. Blames Trump. More at 11. Yes. PBS. Pubic BS. Well. Definitely public BS. Well, bravo to her. And just remember, Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren, you know, she's pretty loud right now, making a lot of complaints, but let's not forget how she got here.
Senator, why did you list yourself as an American Indian on this Texas bar application?
Texas bar application, she listed herself as Chief Wahoo, as a Native American.
This was about 30 years ago, and I am not a tribal citizen. Tribes and only tribes determine citizenship. When I was growing up in Oklahoma, I learned about my family the same way most people do. My brothers and I learned from our mom and our dad and our brothers and our sisters, and those were our family stories. But that said, there really is an important distinction of tribal citizenship. I am not a member of a tribe, and I have apologized for not being more sensitive to that distinction. It's an important distinction.
The president has made the case that you've used this part of your background to get ahead. Are you saying that this is something you fundamentally believed about yourself, or how do you respond to that criticism, that this was a knowing attempt to get ahead by using that claim of ancestry?
Yes, because nobody claims to be a white, straight Christian male to get ahead, because the cards are always stacked against us. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're so silly. You're saying as a straight white man, you've had it hard? Yeah. Yeah, my entire life. My entire life, that affirmative action, diversity, equity, inclusion, all of these quotas. Yep. It's been rigged against my ability to compete on a level playing field. In the game of baseball, you don't get 4 strikes because you're BIPOC. You don't get 1 strike if you're white. Throw the ball, hit the ball. 3 strikes, you're out. Same game for everyone, except it hasn't been. And so, of course, I'm not surprised that people would pretend to be all sorts of things for free money, because that's the world we were born into. That was how you play the game. And it's gross. It's not good. It's great that we're moving past this.
So that is a claim that has been fully investigated, and it has now been shown completely that nothing about my background ever had anything to do with any job I got in any place. It's been fully documented, and there's no evidence of any kind other than it had nothing to do. My background has nothing to do.
Are there any more documents or any more forms like this out there that you have listed yourself as that could come out?
Look, this is who I grew up believing with my brothers. This is our family story. And it's all consistent from that point in time. But as I said, it's important to note I'm not a tribal citizen, and I should have been more mindful of the distinction with tribal citizenship and tribal sovereignty. And that is why I apologize to Chief Baker, and why I've made a very public apology.
So just, a little bit of context, a reminder. It's a good reminder. So when you try to compare, well, President Trump calls Elizabeth Warren a ranking member of Congress of high esteem. He calls her Pocahontas. That is beneath the office of president. President is such a childish man. Of course, Jasmine Crockett can call him Governor Hot Wheels, Governor Abbott in Texas. Trump is calling out Elizabeth Warren lying for free money. Jasmine, Dollar Tree, Cardi B. That's one of the funniest nicknames I've heard in a long time. Ooh, maybe I'll work that in my stand-up set. I'll lose the libs with that one. Yeah, it's a little different when you're making fun of a dude being in a wheelchair versus making fun of a lady who's claiming to be all sorts of non-white things because free money's sitting there. Also, part of me, it's like, hey, I get it. And who really knows what our ethnicity really is? Oh, well, 23andMe knows. Do they? Do they really know? How do they really know? All we have are stories sometimes. You hear that? He takes a shot, he goes, hit, headshot. Again. Hit, head again, I think he said. Vice President Vance joined fellow Marines on the rifle range and took 2 shots from hundreds of yards away. Oh, one was a headshot and the other was center mass. They say every Marine is a rifleman, and JD just proved it. That's good to see. Talking about boys, mediocre males trying to compete in lady sports. President Trump sums it up here. This is just common sense. No hatred to someone that wants to explore that side of themselves, but there's nothing you can do to become something you're not. A carrot cannot become a potato. A giraffe cannot become an eagle. Whatever you do, you cannot.
No matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, if you're born with male DNA in every cell of your body, you can never become a woman. You're not going to be a woman. And that's why last month I proudly signed a historic executive order to ban men from competing in women's sports, and it was very popular and very... No matter how many surgeries...
Yep. And we said, keep mediocre men out of lady sports button. That should get quite a few likes.
We were protesting the Doge cuts. What's been...
Florida fishing mate posted this, asking people they're out here protesting the Doge cuts. Let's hear about it.
Cut.
I would rather not speak to any specific things.
Let me think.
Yes, please think.
What's been cut? Way too much.
The entire work of the CFPB has been stopped.
Big fan of Bill Clinton?
I think we're getting off topic here.
What's he got to do with this?
Well, he laid off 400,000 federal workers when he was in office.
Are you trying to suggest that the cuts that they're making to the federal workforce has a precedent in history?
Exactly.
Okay.
This man is a genius. A genius.
Trump ran on this. He won on this. Isn't this what democracy looks like?
He didn't run on this.
Trump actually didn't run on it. He didn't tell people what his plans were. Did he mention Doge? He mentioned Doge.
I will create a government efficiency commission, and Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. They're cutting stuff, but it's not waste. It's stuff that we need.
Do you need Sesame Street in Iraq?
We might.
I don't... What? I'm sorry?
All of this is a lie.
Do you support sending money to Sesame Street in Iraq? I guess so. What about the sex changes in Guatemala that we were sending $2 million to?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why are they different than sex changes anywhere?
Well, it's not federally funded. Here.
You got me.
I can't comment on that. I don't even know I'm paying for that.
That's why Elon's doing what he's doing.
Well,
he's helping you.
No, I don't know.
We just saw...
We were protesting the Doge cuts. What's been cut?
Yeah. They're very sharp, the people protesting. Okay. Angela White was asked about her weekend. 23andMe. 23andMe. You use Madonna. I updated the reference. Angela White. Ah, yeah. TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. DDS, Doge Derangement Syndrome. Here's Vice President Vance serving lunch to fellow Marines in Quantico. JD would make a great commander-in-chief one of these days.
Thank you. Even if you didn't want bread, now you do. How you doing, man? Good. Where are you from? Yes, sir. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I would love it. Yeah. Thank you. I actually left for boot camp out of the airport a little. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, Griffey, where are you from?
I like, I like seeing JD Vance going through boot camp.
Okay. Man, some big Kentuckians here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Kentuckians here.
How you doing? Okay, thank you. Even if you didn't want bread, now you do.
I like seeing JD going through the motions and meeting with world leaders and doing the photo ops and doing the travel. Like, President Trump is an older gentleman. You want to see a VP that's someone you would be okay with in that role. And I think he's doing a very good job as far as I can tell. Yeah, big news day for JD. President Trump being funny again.
I haven't seen a mask in so long. You're wearing a mask. So nice of you. I haven't seen anybody wearing a mask in a long time. It's good. You feel more comfortable, right? Yes. Good. That's good. I haven't seen a mask in so long. You're wearing a mask.
America's comedian in chief. That's so good. Yeah, I've encountered a couple people with masks recently. It's like, I just don't get what they're doing. It doesn't do what they think it does. Marjorie Taylor Greene, no messing around here. Taking questions.
Yep. Anybody else?
Should the defense secretary?
What country are you? Wait, what country are you from?
The UK.
Okay, we don't give a crap about your opinion and your reporting. Why don't you go back to your country where you have a major migrant problem?
Okay,
And you, no. You should care about your own borders.
Do you care
no,
about
no, no.
American lives being put at risk?
Let me tell you something. Do you care about people from your country? What about all the women that are raped by migrants?
Do you care
No,
about
by migrants. No, do you care? Okay, you're done.
Do you care about American
no,
lives being put at risk?
You know what? I don't care. I don't.
Members fighting for your country.
I don't care about your
vice
fake news.
president
Do you have a
and your
relevant
defense
question?
secretary.
Yeah, this is an American journalist. Thank you.
Thank you. Just enough. Yeah, there's her comment. Fix your own damn country. I like this one. This is pretty great. If I've offended you with my posts, I apologize. I honestly didn't think you could read. I've seen that for years. It was relevant as I was scrolling today. Because I don't apologize. I'm just trying to unpack the news like everybody else. The Prophet says, congrats to everyone who follows me. We are now on an FBI watch list. Congrats. This is pretty funny and sad. One thing I've learned from the past few years, folk will literally comply with anything without asking questions. This is just a dude in a mask asking people to put their arms out, and he has a lint roller. That's so ridiculous.
I want to go back to Doge.
They've added context to this post, but when you click it, Doge didn't uncover $2.7 trillion in improper federal payments. How the hell do you know that? PolitiFact? How do you know that, PolitiFact? Context added to this post. I thought Zuckerberg got rid of the derp checkers.
For a second. Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marjorie Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it. Some of this room might have missed that press conference. Can you elaborate on what the president is thinking at this point?
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that Doge is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us. Unfortunately, I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So where's the rest of that cash? And so that's the thing. Those are the things that Doge is working on every single day. And I would just remind everybody in this room, this is what President Trump campaigned on doing. He's delivering on a promise that 77 million people elected him to do.
I want to go back to Doge just for a second.
By the way, we put in for press credentials, still haven't heard back. So, I mean, this administration seems to be very cozy with a couple of social media influencers, but they haven't really lived up to their promise of bringing in independent voices to their media room. I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy that they said we're going to get the Epstein files and you give them a binder full of nothing for a photo op. What was that about? So I have thoughts. I asked Grok for some context here since YouTube, Instagram. Let me read this for you. It seems you're referencing the $2.7 trillion in improper payments tied to the Department of Government Efficiency mentioned by MTG. The figure comes from a U.S. Governmental Accountability Office, GAO, report cited widely in early 25, estimating improper payments across federal programs since 2003. These payments, totaling $2.7 trillion over 20 years, include errors, overpayments, and fraud, though the exact fraud portion isn't broken out. For context, the GAO reported $236 billion in improper payments for fiscal year 2023 alone, with 74% being overpayments. That would be to deceased individuals or ineligible recipients. Posts on X and Oversight Committee statements in February 25, including MTG, highlight this as a key focus of Doge's war on waste. Doge, launched by Trump in January 25, led by Elon, isn't a formal department, but a temporary White House initiative to cut government spending. Its first congressional hearing, held February 12, 25, by the Doge subcommittee, chaired by MTG, zeroed in on these improper payments. The hearing didn't discover the $2.7 trillion. That figure predates Doge from GAO data, but used it to argue for reforms like better identity verification and digital tracking. So yes, Doge did not, this is me talking now, Doge did not discover the $2.7 trillion. They're referencing the previous GAO data, pushing to reform identity verification and better digital tracking. Witnesses like Haywood Talcove of LexisNexis claimed $1 trillion of COVID relief funds alone was stolen, though that was a separate estimate, not the 2.7 million total. 2.7 trillion isn't all fraud. GAO stresses it's a mix of administrative errors, intentional misuses, with fraud estimates ranging widely, 233 to 521 billion annually from 18 to 22 in another GAO report. There are claims on X and by Doge supporters sometimes inflating this, saying it's all fraudulent or that it went overseas, but the GAO data doesn't specify destinations or confirm it's all fraud. Doge's early wins per its X account includes $6 billion in annual savings, $4 billion from NIH grant cuts, far short of 2.7 trillion, showing the figure is a historical tally, not a new find. MTG's push ties this to Magic. The Gathering, only jokingly. MTG, Magic the Gathering, MTG. Huh. Okay, I didn't know that. So there's some context. Good. It's good to have context. I don't know. Maybe we would go to a Grok concert. Grok and roll. Yep. FBI just arrested one of the top 3 MS-13 gang leaders. Deuces. Dan Bongino. I told you we were coming. Too late. Top MS-13 leader arrested in Virginia. There you go. I love seeing that. Cat Turd saying this: liberal activist judges had no problem with Joe Biden illegally flying murderers, rapists, child traffickers, and gang members into our country by the millions, but they have a huge problem with deporting them back. These activist judges must be investigated criminally by the Department of Justice. They have no business within 500 miles of a courtroom. Agreed. Donald Trump posted, NPR and PBS, 2 horrible and completely biased platforms, networks, should be defunded by Congress immediately. Republicans, don't miss this opportunity to rid our country of this giant scam, both being arms of the radical left Democrat Party. Just say no and make America great again. So that's happening. Kash Patel in his own words.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. And we're going to continue to let good cops be cops across this country. President Trump gave us the executive decision to go after and safeguard our communities. General Bondi is our warrior of justice leading that charge. Governor Youngkin, it's an honor to be a partner in this operation with you and U.S. Attorney Siebert. This is the mandate we have. Right now we have an American dying every 7 minutes from a drug overdose. That is a national security crisis we have not seen ever before. We have a woman or child being raped every 6.5 minutes in this country.
That's gross.
We have a homicide twice an hour. No part of that metric is a safe and secure America. But thanks to the brave leadership of this administration and the folks that you see here, we are returning our communities to safety. As you heard, we took down this morning a top leader of MS-13. That is not done easily. That is done with brilliant law enforcement. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops.
Good. Bravo. Happy to hear it. Happy to see it. So Nick Sortor is reporting this. Judge Boseberg, the liberal judge blocking President Trump from deporting violent gang members, intentionally delayed the release of Hillary Clinton's emails until after the 2016 election. He's also now coincidentally presiding over the Signal case. This is rigged. How do people not see that? Post a migrant threatening to off police officers right in front of him. Is this real?
Remember this face. I will kill this police. Remember this face. Remember, you will see me on the news. Remember it. Remember it. Remember it. Look this face. You look like from there making a video. One day, remember this face. I will kill this police. Remember this face. Remember, you will see me on the news. Remember it. Remember it.
Remember his face. He's promising. Yeah, someone else. If he was praying to Christ, they would have arrested him. They'll arrest you for a social media post, but not pledging to end those police. This is an interesting back and forth. Ian Carroll talking about what kind of got him away from the Democrat cult.
One of the most liberal cities in this fucking country.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, COVID's happening, and I was taking it really seriously. Like, my last Facebook post was like, all young people, we should lock down and take this really fucking seriously. And then all my roommates were like, hey, let's go down to Seattle and do the BLM protests. And I'm like, whoa, like, you're a mask Nazi. You're like on me about my masking, and you're trying to go burn down Seattle?
I had an early joke in the first moments of COVID when we were coming back, and they finally opened things back up a little bit. And I said, yeah, they've. You want to hear the? They were coming back. Okay, so I was bartending and we were shut down. Couldn't do it. And then we were allowed back, but had to wear face masks or shields or something. Everything was stupid. But at the same time, you're having these nationwide BLM riots, these USAID, Act Blue, Democrat Party fueled domestic terror campaigns waging across the country, allegedly. And the joke I would tell people, I'd say, hey, they found a cure for COVID. You want to hear about it? And they're like, yeah. I go, it's a riot. Look, now everybody's out in the streets. Everybody's out in the streets. Millions of people out in the streets. It's a riot. The cure for COVID. I'll tell you about it. It's a riot. No, it's a riot. See, now COVID's gone. Ta-da. Man, we emerged from some weird times.
In a group of like 100,000 people? what? And so they all went down to Seattle, and I'm back at home. And I mean, I still love them to death. Like, if they watch this, like, no shade to them. Like, but I'm at home watching the live streams of the BLM protests, and I'm like, where'd that pallet of bricks come from?
Right.
And that got me thinking.
Where'd that pallet of bricks come from? Over and over and over again. And there's all these explanations. Well, there's a construction site.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something about construction sites. Bricks are fucking expensive. They don't leave bricks laying around like that because people would steal them and take them to their construction sites. That shit happens all the time. If you leave copper piping on a construction site overnight, people just steal
Especially
that
downtown where there's meth heads everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why you
and-
got a basket of fucking bricks?
No. And so then the thing is, I start asking a question. I ask one question in that leftist environment, and it's just like, don't ask questions. It's like, I'm fucking out of here.
Well,
And that's what
Chase
got me
Hughes was
started.
talking about that when he was talking about COVID. Like, what are the ways you can clearly see that something is a psyop? First, you're not allowed to question anything.
Yep. 100%. And questions are met with like, obey the herd, like and they demonize you, and they don't ever attack the arguments. They don't ever engage with the arguments.
No.
I come from one of the most liberal cities in this fucking country.
You know, just another friendly reminder. Hey, you want to know who President Trump has always
necessary,
been?
but we can't be defending Japan, and we can't be defending Saudi Arabia and the Persian Gulf and everybody else and think that we're going to have low-income housing for people, which is desperately needed. Other countries have to pay us for the services we're rendering, or this country is going to go right down the tubes, and that is a shame.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Necessary, but we can't be defending Japan, and we can't be defending Saudi Arabia and the Persian Gulf and everybody else and think that we're going to have low-income housing for people, which is desperately needed. Other countries have to pay us for the services we're rendering, or this country is going to go right down the tubes, and that is a shame.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Yep, consistently consistent with common sense from President Trump. Yeah, he was a Democrat when he said that. All the people that hate him now loved him then. Why don't you run for office, Donald? Why don't you run for office? Seriously. Then they turned on him, but he hasn't changed his opinion. Please don't infringe says... Well, which graphic am I on? I got to do this. Ken saying that COVID led to the Netflix password crackdown. Interesting. I'm thinking about that. This is from Please Don't Infringe. The left has shown they don't care about pedos, sexualized kids, rapists, stealing, assault, urban crime, immigration, merit, war, or the environment. So maybe when they do pretend to care about something like Signal, we're safe to assume that it's not something we care about. We do not have any crossover with the radical left. I know that I don't need to care about something if the DNC is screaming about it in DC. What did Martyr Maid say? It's not about believing or not believing. It's that no one cares. In 2015, every serious media outlet decided to erase the gap between them and MSNBC. So Trump voters decided to ignore them all, just like Democrats have always ignored. And it continues. But yeah, if the DNC's freaking out about, whoa, where'd it go? If the DNC's freaking out about it, then maybe that's our cue that we don't need to. What's happening? Oh, okay, I'm back to this. There we go. Pam Bondi making comments at the same press conference that Cash was just at. Volume.
Morning, one of the top leaders of MS-13 was apprehended. He was the leader for the East Coast, one of the top 3 in the entire country. Right here in Virginia, living half an hour outside of Washington, D.C. He is an illegal alien from El Salvador, and he will not be living in our country much longer. He's in custody this morning. One of the top leaders right here near our nation's capital.
We said, thank you, Pam Bondi and Cash Patel. Can we finally have the full JFK files and the full Epstein files now? Sorry, I'm just, it really bugs me.
So here's the basic plan.
Is this the same quote from J.D. Vance? Let's see if this is different or the same.
What we're going to do. We're going to invest in the Marine Corps and the entire United States military like we never have before. over $1 trillion we're going to invest in building up the manufacturing base of this country so that you guys, when you do go to war, when you have to go to war, you've got the best weapons anywhere in the world. We know from the long history of the United States of America that while the leading edge of American power is you all, it really matters what you guys have in your hands and what you guys have on your backs when you go to war. And so I promised you from the President of the United States, we are going to send you, if we have to send you to war, with the best equipment, the best ammunition, the best weapons, and we are going to empower you guys to win when you have to. That's the purpose of the United States Marine Corps, am I right? So,
there you go. You got to know, am I right? Hoorah! Hoorah! Bravo, JD Vance. All right. We're going to pop over here to our X feed and roll through the stuff over here. Make sure you're following us. This is maybe the biggest story of the year. If we get our voting right, if we can fix our voting, I don't think I predict Democrats, they're done. The party's completely toast forever. I don't think they've been as popular as they have claimed to be all these decades at all. I think they found a way to manufacture ballots. I don't think it's accurate. Can I prove it? Has it been proven in a court of law? Yeah, you've actually seen quite a few things in New Jersey, and there's a lot of cases working their way through. You got a lot of anomalies in Georgia and Arizona, and I mean, really, just go down the list anywhere. Well, anyway, you get the point. Let's listen to this executive order from President Trump.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order for your attention on the very important subject of election integrity. We believe that this executive order is the farthest reaching executive action.
Election integrity.
Taken in the history of the Republic to secure our elections. Among numerous other aspects of this executive order, this is going to cut down on illegal immigrants on the voter rolls, ensure that the Department of Homeland Security and the data that they have available is being fully weaponized to ensure that illegal immigrants aren't voting. This will include a citizenship question on the federal voting form for the first time.
There hasn't been a citizenship question on the federal voting form before. What in the world has been happening? And if people are voting, lying about being a citizen, they need to be held to account. You don't live in a neighborhood, you don't get to vote in their homeowners association annual elections. It's that easy. If you're not a resident here, of course you don't vote here. Why would anyone care about me if I'm not a shareholder with voting privileges? Who thinks that I have a right to sit on that board of directors and cast a ballot in the decision they're making? I don't have that right.
This executive order instructs the EAC to cut federal funding to states that don't take reasonable steps to secure their election.
Reasonable steps. I want that more clearly defined.
This calls on the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute election crimes.
You damn well better vigorously prosecute election crimes. Nothing is more important.
Particularly in states that we don't believe are in compliance with federal law around election integrity. I could go on and on for a while, sir, but the compliance with National Election Day rules, cracking down and investigating and prosecuting foreign interference in our elections, revoking President Biden's Executive Order 14019, which essentially weaponized government to corrupt and pollute our election process. There's a lot in here, but we believe that these are very important steps that we need to be taking as an administration at your direction to ensure that our elections are as secure as they possibly can be.
Okay, you all understand that? Yes. Election fraud, you've heard the term. We'll end it, hopefully. At least this will go a long way toward ending it. There are other steps that we will be taking in the coming weeks, and we think we'll be able to end up getting fair elections. Perhaps some people think I shouldn't be complaining because we won in a landslide, but we got to straighten out our election. This country is so sick because of the election, the fake elections and the bad elections, and we're going to straighten it out one way or the other.
It's everywhere. And the SAVE Act is still what? That's just sitting around?
To sign all of them, but to sign this one is a great honor.
After what he's been through. 81 million totally legitimate votes for Biden. Yeah, Biden's our most popular president ever. Okay. Federal funding cut to states who are not securing elections. DHS to stop illegals from voting. Citizenship question added to the voting form. DOJ to pursue election crimes in non-compliant states. Oh, there you go. Yep. Tony Segura saying Trump orders to require states require proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections. Requiring voters to provide government-issued documentary proof of citizenship when registering to vote. Election experts said the measures could disenfranchise millions of voters who don't have ready access to documents like passports or other official IDs. They also said the measure is illegal and would prompt litigation. Here's the inside baseball. Pay attention to twat waffles like Mark Elias, who have a vested interest in maintaining terribly insecure elections with extremely weak checks and balances. The lawsuits are already flying before the ink on President Trump's signature, not an auto pen either, is dry. Who wouldn't want proof of citizenship, voter ID, paper ballots, same-day voting unless you were cheating? Okay, what's happening? All right, scrolling down. Election integrity talk with Carolyn Levitt.
Sure, go ahead. Okay, thank you for taking my question. I wanted to first and foremost thank the administration for the election integrity executive order, because so many journalists for 4 years were banned from talking about this very subject. So thank you to the administration for that.
Yeah, journalists like myself have been banned from talking about election interference. Somehow. It's so nice that that's not a taboo topic anymore.
My question is, yesterday, President Trump, when signing the order, said that there is more to come when it comes to election integrity. Would that include same-day voting and hand-counted paper ballots? And why are Democrats so against election integrity measures like obviously proof of citizenship when it comes to voting in a United States election?
Well, it's a very good question. You'll have to ask the Democrats why.
Twat Waffle House. Yeah, it's our second Waffle House reference. Also, not a sponsor yet.
They're against so many common sense things, not just mandating voter ID. Why are they against men and women's sports? Why are they against deporting
Against stopping men being in women's sports. Why are they against deporting foreign terrorists?
foreign terrorists from American soil who have been designated a foreign terrorist organization? I'm referring to Tren de Aragua. As for the election integrity executive order that the president signed yesterday, this is in an effort to restore trust in American elections. There were more than 10 steps taken, 10 executive actions taken.
And yeah, people are saying like, oh, well, why is the president pushing for election, blah, 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 because, you know, he won. Do you know how much he really won by? I don't know that I could say with certainty. I guarantee you people were trying to cheat. 100%. I thought he was going to win close to 50 states in 2020. The Democrats are literally burning America down based on lies, division, hatred, divisive, deep state tactics. I thought President Trump was going to win about 50 states, maybe 46, 47, 48. And he was on his way to a massive landslide. Up in 7 swing states, hundreds of thousands of votes when, oh, what's this? They're pausing their count. Oh, another state's pausing their count. Oh, another state's, oh, they've all paused their counts. Trump's up by hundreds of thousands. When do we get to celebrate? Oh, you're going to, okay. Oh, now you're declaring the win for the other guy. The old guy that couldn't put 3 sentences together. The old guy that didn't even campaign from his basement. Remember that? Uh-huh. I wonder how much President Trump could have won this election by if these measures were in place. 50 states? 48? 47? I don't know.
Taken throughout this one order. It directs the department, or the attorney general rather, in Homeland Security to prevent non-citizens from any involvement in administering elections. There's also another host of actions. We can provide the fact sheet for you, but it's a very strong election integrity executive order, and the president would also like to see Congress do something about this very important issue as well.
There you go. So, Western Lensman says Trump just revoked Biden's executive order 14019. If you're interested in how important this is, the thread below explains how the executive order is used to transform the federal government, with the help of left-wing NGOs and other groups, into a partisan get-out-the-vote machine for Democrats. Biden bucks. Contextual video. Okay. Executive order crafted by Democrat voting groups to register Democrat constituencies. Anyway, it's a long thread. I'm not going to get to it, but check it out if you want to dig into that executive order 14019. Native Patriots saying a stark contrast. Way back in 2022, Colbert clearly states that Teslas were good, moral, and righteous to own. Now, since Elon decided to vote Trump, Tesla's evil, Nazi, and probably racist. Not a matter of if, but when you'll be on the chopping block from these woke Marxists. Today, you're a good, obedient liberal, and tomorrow you're the enemy. Never forget. Glenn Beck posted this video here. Roger Stone says, after a couple of cocktails, I asked Nixon directly, who killed Kennedy? He said, let me put it this way. Nixon and I both wanted to be president, but I wasn't willing to kill for it. So watch that video. MJ Truth Ultra shares this. Nicole Shanahan is very close to saying that every major big tech company was created and funded by DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Hewlett-Packard, Oracle. These companies didn't just spring up out of nowhere. She says they all came from secret government funding, funneled through the Silicon Valley Stanford network. If you look at where some of these grants or funding came from, it all comes directly from people with ties to the government. You mean to tell me that all those rags to riches success stories are probably BS? LOL. Check out that interview. Joe Rogan getting red-pilled. It's fun to see.
How crazy is it that the left are the ones who are painting swastikas on cars? Just understand how crazy positions can flip and flop. The left is upset that we're not continuing an endless war in Ukraine. The left is upset that this guy is uncovering fraud and waste. And so in order to stop that, you must light cars on fire and put swastikas on them.
So stupid.
Because he's a Nazi. Because he said, my heart goes out to you. Even though there's countless videos of AOC doing that gesture, Tim Walsh doing that gesture enthusiastically, many, many people. How crazy is it?
Yep, it's crazy. Oh, you want to see a great video? I think this is against a Tesla, and these are the cameras. Jump up here. Come on. Watch this one. Is there sound to this? Let's play.
They not like us. They not.
Nope, can't have music. Doggone it. So watch, this guy passes really fast this Tesla and goes out ahead. Starting to brake. Slams on their brakes. Messing with them. Tesla driver. I'm going to get out of here. Crunch. Dork. What a dork. I love instant karma. I thought he flipped him off too. Oh, maybe I saw that on a different, maybe I saw it through the windshield. I don't know. But instant karma is pretty great. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, here's privileged and entitled. Jasmine Crockett today leaving our Doge committee hearing on NPR and PBS with her Capitol Police escort. All while she's fueling domestic terrorism against Tesla, physically threatening Ted Cruz and making fun of Governor Greg Abbott in a wheelchair. Yeah, the new face of the Democrat Party is even worse than before. And this coming after today, assaulting an independent journalist who was asking if she condones violence against Tesla. Kaneko the Great is reporting that Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade just got busted at the airport together, meaning They both committed perjury when they said that their relationship was over 2 years ago. Lock her up. This is a Daily Mail video. Did you see this pass by Jokic? Oh my gosh, that is a LeBron-esque. One of the best passes. Super LeBron-esque. LeBron, one of the best passers in league history. Yes, of course, Major League Baseball opening day is here, so make sure you do yourself a favor.
Everybody, Harry Doyle here, welcoming all you friends of the feather.
Friends of the feather. And watch yourself some Major League today.
You're part of.
This is a Charlie Kirk conversation with a man dressed as a woman and just how to respond to this.
The problem, I think, with the hatred on trans people. It's really not that deep. Like, if someone wants to dress up however they want, that's totally fine.
Okay, so
and I think
I'm
that's
not
where the
preventing
hatred
you. I'm
comes
not
from.
preventing you from dressing up like this. However, let me ask you a question. I will
Go
flush
ahead,
this
go
out.
ahead.
So let's pretend you say you are a woman.
Yeah,
and
let's pretend.
I know you are a man, but I refuse to
But-
call you a woman.
Okay.
Who's the hateful one?
I would say you are. I mean, I wouldn't.
So
I
you're
wouldn't
gonna
appreciate
force
it.
me and
I'm
shame
not
me?
forcing
No,
you
hold
to
on a
do
second.
anything, man.
I'm the hateful one.
It's really just like common courtesy.
It is never
it that much
common
effort?
courtesy to lie. You do
Okay.
not become a thing just because you say it, you are the thing.
So-
And guess what? Nobody in the history of the species that was born XX or born XY and transitioned is able to change their chromosomes. Every
Yeah.
one of your cells is coded either XX or XY.
But
And it
that's
is an
where-
insult to women everywhere in this audience and across the country that's saying that you could just have wear makeup and dress like a woman, undergo surgery, that you magically become a woman. And it is the abolition of women, and is the abolition of reality. And we see great unjust human suffering because of it.
There you go.
Believe what we just found. Behind a
USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins. Look what they found.
door at USDA, we found a whole box of these seeds. And listen, we love seeds here at USDA, but check these out. These are specific tomato seeds that are for growing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility at USDA. I mean, look at these. If you can be anything, be inclusive at USDA. America, this is what we're fighting here in Washington, D.C. This is why we are completely working to realign under President Trump's vision our entire government about returning power to the people, about ensuring that we're putting Americans first, and that we really are going to make America great again. And no longer will we spend tax dollars on diversity, equity, inclusion at USDA. But you're not going to believe what
I know it's a photo op, but if those are perfectly viable seeds, let's plant them, not throw them in the trash. But yeah, throw that DEI stuff in the trash. It's just racism. It's just a new way, fancy way to say racist. Just like how certain groups said, hey, you shouldn't use that, toss that certain word around. The one that comes after M, as in Michael, don't use that word. Well, I don't want to use DEI because it's racist against me. So let's not use it. I wonder, though, if those seeds are genetically modified. I wonder if they're actually organic heirloom seeds or if they're trash. So if they are trash, you can put them in the trash. Yes. John Kinsey Noel with his home run in the 9th inning with 2 outs. It's pretty great. I can't show it. I can't play it. Tucker Carlson exposing U.S. Congress passing a loophole to allow illegal migrants to vote. This must be undone. We have to secure our voting, says Wall Street Apes. It's illegal, you say, for illegal aliens to vote in a federal election. Well, actually, it's not illegal, it turns out. Congress passed something in the U.S. code, the federal code, a line that, unbeknownst to the rest of us, makes it legal for illegal aliens to vote in federal elections if they believe they are citizens. It's a state of mind. Do you believe that you're a lady? Do you believe that you're a lady in a dress? Like that person talking to Tucker, talking to Charlie Kirk? If you believe you're a lady, then you are a lady and you get to go invade women's spaces in the locker rooms and win championships, being the best in your state, but you're a boy. Well, you believe that you're a girl. Okay. Oh, so you're not a citizen, but you believe you are? What in the world is happening here? Seriously, what in the actual what? We've been hearing about this for a while. Check out this clip. Founder of True the Vote, Catherine Engelbrecht, found in the U.S. Code that non-citizens can vote without penalty if at the time they are voting they believe themselves to be U.S. citizens. You got to get rid of every instance of that. And yes, every election will be stolen until we fix the problem. Paper ballots, no machines, ID, signature verification, vote in person, proof of life. Do you agree or disagree with that? I agree with that. Matt Van Swol says, here's some absolutely horrifying footage emerging from the Table Rock fire overnight that's spreading into western North Carolina today. What in the hell is happening? This is terrorism. I don't know what's happening. Why are they still attacking western North Carolina? What is going on? From Malibu to Maui to western North Carolina. Awful video. Ashbrook High School in North Carolina. I don't want to see that, but you got to get these kids out of these schools. You know, some of them you charge with criminal offenses. I don't know. When does it rise to that level?
Free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries?
Dude, do you hate these people as much as I do? Delicious fries? What a creep.
Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This can be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination.
Oh my God, he's talking to us like we're fucking kindergartners. Go.
Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling about vaccination right this moment. Thank you.
My God. Did you hear this one? End wokeness. Judge Lydia Mugambe worked at the United Nations on slavery and human trafficking. Guess what? She just got arrested for owning a slave.
So unfortunately, I'm going to have to now arrest you on suspicion of keeping somebody in slavery and servitude under the Modern Slavery Act. So you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned, something which later on in court.
Officer.
Anything you do say may be used as evidence. All right. Sorry?
I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity.
I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity. You have immunity from keeping slaves. No, you don't.
Anything you do say may be used as evidence. All right. Sorry?
I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity. I am not a criminal.
You've got immunity in this country?
Yes. I have a diplomatic passport.
You're a diplomat?
Yes.
So we'll need to see that then.
Yes.
And then we'll need to speak to the embassy if you are a diplomat.
I came here as a student. I don't need to work.
So unfortunately, I'm going to have to now arrest you.
So let's follow that story. Mugambe. Once again, that female cop in Miami allowing this attack to happen. You saw this one. Guy stopped in the middle of the road. In front of the police car. He got out of the car to talk to the officer. On his way back to the car, he was jumped by the thugs who beat him with a bike and demolished his car. Okay. Female officer stayed in her car while the man was brutally beaten. It wasn't until other officers arrived that the female cop got out of her car and walked over. I mean, this is madness. Just remember, you can't trust the police to protect you. Speaking of police, what is going on here? Amuse is reporting shock. 4 current and former Harris County Sheriff's deputies have died by suicide within 6 weeks. Deputy Christina Kohler found dead March 13 after being reported missing. Former Deputy Maria Vasquez, who left the force in December, died shortly after Kohler. Former Deputy William Bozeman found under similar circumstances, and former Deputy Long Nguyen, who died in February. Harris County. Where is Harris County? Deputy, I'm not seeing the state here.
Concerns for the deputies organization. The question is, what more should they be doing?
It caught a lot of us by surprise.
Harris County Sheriff's Deputy Christina Kohler left home last week and was never seen again. Houston police issuing this alert. The 37-year-old found on the 13th.
Texas.
She had taken her own life. 3 days later, Maria Vasquez, who left the department in December, died by apparent suicide. William Bozeman, also a former deputy, died earlier this week. Tragic news.
One is too many. 2, 3 is, yes, it's definitely devastating.
That host.
I have questions. Remember when those J6 people at the Capitol, they all did the same thing, allegedly? Just kind of makes you wonder if you're getting the real story or not.
Moments later, they return.
Here you go. Let's check out this nut job. Where was this? Seattle? Was it Seattle?
By glances over at the car, and moments later, they return and quickly start keying the passenger door with a phone in the other hand.
You can tell in the video too, like
Dude,
they're actively
look at this guy.
starting to record.
Almost ran right into the tree. What a lunatic. Is he recording to send it to someone to get paid? Do you get paid for doing these? That's the question. With the filming, are they getting paid to do this?
In the other hand.
You can tell in the video too.
Dude, he almost runs right into the
quickly
tree.
Start keying the passenger door with a phone in the other hand.
You can tell in the video too, like they're active.
Moments later.
Okay, this was almost an FAFO situation. Look at how close he comes to running right into that tree. This lunatic.
They return and quickly start keying the passenger door with a phone in the other hand.
You can tell in the video too, like
Barely.
they're
Super close to knocking himself out.
actively starting to record, and they're recording the whole thing. You can easily tell this is a targeted, like there's intent there.
Ken is saying maybe Western North Carolina could be a land grab, perhaps. I mean, those were the accusations when we were out there filming Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. That's what a lot of people were hearing. That's what lithium mines up in the mountains. They had to clear it all out.
And they, kind of a mockery of it, right? With all the recording.
Seconds later, the vandal runs off. The owners, who asked to remain anonymous, notice the damage about a half hour later and say since then they have felt unsettled and somewhat fearful. By glances
and almost knocked himself out. This nitwit almost knocked himself out by running directly into that tree. That would have been fantastic. Yeah, that sentry mode turns out to be a real great thing. Why didn't that send? What's going on? Something went wrong. Oops, I already said that. All right, whatever. Just discard. I don't know. Whatever. Liz Churchill is talking about this. This is a conversation on children's health defense. She says this person on with Rogan says in 1916 there was a Rockefeller lab that had a specific stated goal to create the most neuropathological strain of polio possible, which was released to the public by accident, and then the world experienced the worst polio epidemic ever. Dig into that story and consider it. Yep, police arrested 33-year-old Demarquayon Cox in Texarkana, Texas, playing Mario Kart. Dude, is that a 400-pound human? Felony criminal mischief using a mini four-wheeler to smash into a Tesla at Golden Palace restaurant and damaged another at Lowe's. What is wrong with these people? This is a woke mind virus. Yeah. Suzanne Humphreys, Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, author of Dissolving Illusions, revealing what really made all those polio cases disappear after the vaccine was introduced. Go ahead, click on and look through the Vigilant Fox. They have a thread. Happy opening day, Cleveland, and everybody else. I'll say rest in peace to Mr. Tucker Carlson. He wrote the obituary for his father. Peace and strength to you and your whole family, sir. Passed away at 84. What else? Oh, this is great from Jeremy Tate. He says, I totally understand why teachers' unions oppose school choice. I get it. As a business owner, I too like the idea of not having to compete with anyone. Okay, this video is going around the internet. Have you seen this? What's it called? FSD? Yeah, what does FSD stand for? Full self-driving.
I'm going to enjoy, one thing about me, I'm going to enjoy my morning banana. With Tesla FSD on the Cybertruck, I can literally drive hands-free. One thing about me, I'm going to enjoy my morning banana.
The comments are so good. This dude is using a spoon to eat a banana. Says especially...
You'll need very sharp fruit cutlery like this. Cut each end off and place in the distance.
Absolutely. Especially when we all know the correct and proper way to eat a banana is with a fork and knife. The comment, this is somehow the gayest way to eat a banana, but also the non-gayest way to eat a banana. The comments just keep going. Men really let social media change the way they eat bananas. Shit is hilarious to me. On paper, you'd think this would be a less gay manner of eating a banana, but seeing it in reality, though, uber gay. Yep, there you go. Breaking Nazi alert. Here's your Democrat leader, Jasmine Crockashit. Autism Capital reporting that Trump has said if the EU works with Canada to economically harm the U.S., he'll implement large-scale tariffs on them both, far larger than those currently planned. No skullduggery. If the European Union works with Canada in order to do economic harm to the USA, large-scale tariffs, far larger than those currently planned, will be placed on them both in order to protect the best friend that each of those two countries has ever had. It is so nice. By the way, good morning from Germany, where I just witnessed gold reach a new all-time high at $3,000 an ounce. End of message. Have a great day. Snow White has a 1.8 rating. 1.8 out of 10. Colin Rugg says she's a narcissist, the actress, who gets off on pissing people off. Great, if you want to be a Twitter troll, but it's moronic if you're trying to sell movie tickets. Says, I love you all so much. Thank you for the love and for 120 million views on our trailer in just 24 hours. What a whirlwind. I'm in the thick of rehearsals for Romeo and Juliet, so I'm going to get out of here. Bye for now. Oh my gosh, I don't know what she's doing on Romeo and Juliet, but they better pay attention and get rid of her. That was only a few months ago. Well, coming up half a year. August, whatever. She says, and as always, remember, free Palestine. The gas stove says, poor Disney didn't know that they were hiring a commie. The producer's son has a point. Rachel dragged her politics into the movie promotions, thus exacerbating the negative PR. Just read this, Colin. You'll see what I'm getting at. Dr. Dina says, to be fair, the film is already a woke hot mess. No dwarves because some actor objective. Snow White is played by a narcissistic non-white girl who's president of her own fan club. That's a good line. President of her own fan club. Snow White is a feminist icon instead of the vulnerable, sweet girl in the story. The prince is a soy boy. The story is set in a communist utopia. Yuck. Stop mucking with our myths, legends, and fairy tales. You want it to be different? Write something new. I do agree with that. Breaking, Poland has suspended the right of illegal migrants to apply for asylum. President Duda signed the new bill today, which makes it possible for Poland to deny all asylum seeker requests by the illegal migrants trying to break through Poland's border wall with Belarus. What'd you say, a banana crammer? That's a good line. Maybe I'll use that sometime. I'll call somebody a banana crammer. So yeah, Poland is not playing around. No right to apply for asylum now. President Trump to impose 25% tariff on auto imports. That's a good one. And this just in, President Trump calls for an immediate, because the United States auto industry has been taken advantage of for a long time. Other countries are not allowing our products to go into their country at a reasonable rate, and that pushes up domestic sales of their own products there, but we have to just accept that? No, we don't. We do not. So this one here, Donald Trump calls for an immediate investigation into activist Judge Boseberg, who gets a fourth Trump case. Trump points out how corrupt DC's courts are, and that it's statistically impossible for Boseberg to be chosen at random over and over again. He seems to be grabbing the Trump cases all to himself, even though it's not supposed to happen that way, and that it's a rigged system. So yeah, I think we need to get SCOTUS involved immediately, and people need to suffer consequences. People need to be removed. People need to be impeached. People need to be jailed if fraud is found. Buck Sexton making a good point. Same people who swore that the Commander-in-Chief Biden didn't have dementia, they now want to take a communications error that caused zero harm and turn it into Pearl Harbor. Please, calm down, libs. It's going to be a long 4 years for you. Forward Fisher here says the family of prosecutor Jessica Aber, remember we covered this, former U.S. Attorney General found dead, says that the family says that she had epilepsy and she died in her sleep. Police have said that no evidence point to foul play in the case. So you can take that report for what it's worth. Agree with it, disagree with it. Continue investigation or accept it at face value. So did you see this lunatic who's been disrupting events at Turning Point USA with Alex Stein and got physical, got violent with people? This lunatic student, where are we at? Scroll down. Okay, can't see the next story. Where are we at? Retry, something went wrong. Okay, X is acting weird. There we go. Andy No is reporting this violent trans extremist attacked a conservative female student at UT Dallas with a bike lock. A Vietnamese American man, Liam Than Tam Nguyen, uses the alias Alyssa. Shouldn't be hard to locate this violent lunatic. Were they arrested? Okay, Nguyen has been arrested on suspicion of 2 felony counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, felony assault on an officer, felony attempting to take a weapon from an officer, and misdemeanor charges.
Oh, that's full assault.
Go, go!
Back
up!
Oh,
right
that's
there.
full assault.
Go, go!
Back up! Oh, that's full assault.
Go, go! Back up!
Oh, that's full assault.
Go, go!
Unhinged mental illness. So I'd like to get more information about that. It's time to make criminals fearful again. Keep your eyes peeled. Yeah, this is maybe where yep, someone called her Dollar Tree Cardi B, and we can't unhear that. But remember that this is all an act. She didn't grow up in the hood. She went to the most expensive private school in St. Louis. This is how she spoke before deciding to change her personality for political gain.
Absolutely. First of all, it's good to see you in the new year. You know, no one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need. Listen, he up there, he's spewing all kinds of nonsense and bullshit. Let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that shit. We wouldn't, you know. But when she called me and said, I think it's time for me to retire, and you're the one that I believe should take my seat, I really was kind of caught off guard. I didn't anticipate that.
She has changed. And then, of course, yesterday, this is her highlight.
Because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey. So yes.
Fake accent, fake fingernails, fake eyelashes, fake. There she is, Jasmine Crockett, everybody, the leader of the Democrat Party. Enjoy her. Please clap. Please clap. And that's all I wanted to show you today. Thank you for joining us on the TDAM AM show, a subdivision of the Agree to Disagree show. If you go on Spotify and Apple, you get our podcast, the Agree to Disagree show. And of course, at the bottom of the screen there, Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick, D Live is the New American Media. Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat, and on X at American_Media_. Donation links on Patreon, the New American Media, Venmo, Brian Engelman, Cash App, Brian Engelman, and PayPal, Fuzz Installment. Thank you very much. And of course, for countervailing views, go to CDC and WHO websites and CISA.gov/rumor control for everything regarding elections and medical such and such. Thank you, everybody. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, please share. Love having the ongoing conversation. Today is the opening day of baseball. Go outside, get some fresh air, watch some baseball, maybe even get yourself a hot dog. I went down to my what do they call it? Freezer chest. I went down to my freezer and got some stuff out that I've had frozen for a little while. It's like, all right, it's time to start eating this stuff. Brought some stuff up. I brought some hot dogs, some good hot dogs. What kind of kids eat armor hot dogs? So yeah, maybe make yourself a hot dog today. I'm going to go to a baseball game soon. I haven't been in a while, obviously. Got some local teams here. Maybe catch a Tribe game when they get close. I miss living close enough to go see my favorite team. I still call them the Tribe. That's my dude. That's my chief. Love this team. Yeah, here we go. Bam! Cleveland Indians. And yes, maybe the most famous player that played for both the Cleveland Indians and the Minnesota Twins, Ken, was Jim Thome. Didn't he hit his 700th home run there, or was it his last home run there? He hit a few home runs in Minnesota right as he was retiring. I remember that. So yes, thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Signing out for now. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.